Welcome to the MOT today. I'm your co-host Luis Acevedo, and with me is Mick. Mick, how's it going, man? Can you hear me? Hey, can you hear me? Looks like we're having some technical difficulties there with Mick. He's frozen on the screen. Either that or I'm frozen. What's going on, man?
Hi. Welcome. Hello, everybody. Good evening. I'm glad to be able to join you guys.
Yeah, man. So we have quite a few things to talk about today. The biggest news that probably came out recently was the U.S. House passing an assault weapons ban. That was in the House, though, so it still needs to pass the Senate and get sent up to the president. I don't think it'll even get past the Senate, though.
Yeah, I saw that today, and they were saying that it probably wouldn't pass the Senate. I'm surprised that it went through the House, although I didn't even know that they were trying to do that. So
yeah, I'm not surprised they try to put it through the House.
Crazy.
Yeah, I'm not too surprised. I mean, they have the majority in the House, and they're going to lose the majority in the House come midterms. They have they don't have the majority in the. I think they may have. No. I think the Republicans have the majority in the Senate, but it doesn't really matter because the Second Amendment isn't going anywhere. They're not going to remove weapons out of the hands of Americans. They tried to before. They did pass an assault weapons ban under Bill Clinton, if I'm not mistaken. Didn't last for long though. So I don't think that there's anything to worry about. Truly, I think it's just a ploy, a tactic used to rile up voters for the midterms, so that way the Democrats can go to their base and be like, "Yo, we did this.
Yeah.
Make sure you elect us again."
Yeah, these fools don't even understand what a semi-automatic weapon is, though. Like,
I know.
Or they call it, okay, so it was an assault weapons ban?
Yeah.
Does that mean it's a ban on semi-automatics or like?
Yeah, so they had a ban on some semi-automatic weapons, handguns, something, it was a variety of things.
Okay, yeah, because if they ban semi-automatic weapons, that's like a national security threat. Well, I guess they'd still be allowed to have them, but I mean, we wouldn't. You can't even have a pistol then. Basically, you got to go back to like revolvers and shit, like single shot type shit, like.
Yeah, so I mean, I'm not too worried about it. It isn't gonna really do much other than just be a publicity stunt, in my opinion. So not too much to fear there. The Americans will never give up their guns. It's just too ingrained in the culture. There's too many people that will refuse that, and there's a lot of people that will choose to stand on that hill to the very end, if you catch my drift. So I think that would just provoke too much nonsense. And we're already over here provoking wars in foreign countries. It's not like we need to go provoking any more confrontation here at home.
Yeah, I'm right there with you, Christopher.
Right. So yeah, and then and after we get through these main topics, we'll let everybody else come on, whoever else wants to come on. But yeah, so the car market is crashing. You were talking about this a little bit, Mick, regarding the huge amounts of layoffs taking place in the automotive industry. If you want to go into that a little bit.
Yeah, Tesla announced it like a couple weeks ago, and then another electric car company, Rivian, announced it, but they're pretty much on their way out the door anyway. Ford just announced a big one. At first, I heard somewhere it was like 25% of all their salaried employees, and then today I was looking, it said 8,000. So I'd have to dig a little bit more to see if that 25% number is correct, but it sounds like they said that the reason why they cut all these employees is because they need to like make money, save money to put towards their EV production. So I'm not sure if it's like engineers that work on gas-powered vehicles, like specifically engineers for combustion engines.
Mhm.
So since they're moving away from that, they can just get rid of them. Or
Right.
I'm not entirely sure what these salaried employees are, like, where in Ford they work. So
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, we were talking about this in the past, and that's just the tip of the iceberg. I think there's going to be a lot more car companies
sure.
going to be saying things like this, and I think there's going to be a huge lag in the chip thing. We're trying to start making all these chips here, but there's going to be a huge lag, like, in between. But if the market does crash, then I guess there's going to be less demand for the chips anyway. So I don't know. It'll be interesting to see how it all unfolds.
Yeah, I agree. There's a lot going on right now. I mean, not only is there huge layoffs going on, but there's a huge amount of repossessions taking place as well that not many people are talking about. So many people went out during the pandemic with their influx of money because of the stimulus checks and bought vehicles they couldn't afford because they thought the money would keep coming in, and a lot of people lost their jobs. And so there's a huge number of vehicles that are being repossessed at the moment, and there are also difficulties, if I'm not mistaken, getting or not. I don't know if it's getting vehicles, but getting vehicles off the lot rather at a lot of car dealerships. So we're going to see not only the people get laid off in these industries, but they're going to be feeling it as far as their product goes too, because their car prices are going to have to go down tremendously, right? They were already outpacing what people were making, so they couldn't really afford to keep up with it. And so car prices are going to be dropping, and the car industry is going to be taking a big hit. Something that a lot of people are unaware of, and I got to see this firsthand, was when I worked in the extended warranty business. And a lot of the people who are buying used cars actually get it on subprime loans. And so subprime loans are like horrible loans. Like they're really, really bad, horrible interest rates. And that, like people are paying like 30% interest on some of these used cars, and it's because they have such poor credit scores. And as soon as I heard that that the dealerships that we were working with were using subprime loans, I thought to myself, there's going to be a huge crash that comes, because these subprime loans were similar to the mortgage-backed securities that were used in 2008, which was a main factor of the crash in 2008. So what we're witnessing right now is just a collapse of the automotive industry. And I think this is going to be a huge factor for the rest of the economy as well. And if you have the cash and you need a car, it's going to be, pretty good for you, but maybe not so good for the economy at large. I would add this, though. I think Joe Biden is right in saying that we are heading in the right direction. Whether he realizes that he's right or not, I understand that they changed the definition of recession. We all get that. But we do need to go through a recession. We do need to go through a depression. Like these things are cyclical. So
maybe Biden will have like another Freudian slip. He'll be like, "We're headed into a repossession."
Right.
America's being repossessed by China.
Right.
I'm surprised the Democrats aren't trying to push something like this forbearance shit, or how like what was it? Whenever people weren't able to pay their payments on their rent and shit.
Yeah, the moratorium. Yep.
Well, they're renewing that in California right now.
Really?
But I'm surprised the Democrats aren't. In LA, and I'm surprised that the Democrats aren't gonna. If that becomes a problem, maybe they'll try to do something like you can't repossess people's cars. We're gonna stop that.
I don't know if they can keep that going forever, though. I think that it's going to come back and bite them regardless. So just let it play out.
There's a whole bunch of states giving out stimulus checks again too. Did you hear about that?
I did not, but I did read that they were talking about it. I didn't know that they were actually doing it, though.
Yeah, there's like 12 different states or something like that, and then Los Angeles is doing the what it's slipping my mind. I swear I just said that you can't like lose your house if you're not paying
The
your rent. What's that
moratorium.
called?
Moratorium.
The moratorium, yeah. The rent moratorium.
Right.
So
And that's going to bite them in the butt too. I think, but I also heard something really interesting.
They can't throw all those people out on the streets. There's already so many homeless people. That would be like mass chaos if they just like threw all those people out.
It already is mass chaos, and it's only going to get worse, which is why people get out of big cities.
Yeah.
Big cities are going down really fast. Get out of there.
I can't even imagine. I would be interested to see how many people are actually behind on their, bill on their rent and stuff like that. Like, could you imagine if like 50% of the population of LA was thrown out on the street? Like, they couldn't even enforce that. It'd just be madness.
Well, LA is already gone, man. LA is already chaotic. You see that I saw an article today on Zero Hedge that they had just paid over $500 million for this new bridge, and people are treating it like a drag racing strip. It's ridiculous, man. It's already lawless in these big cities. Get out of them. It's insane. In New York, they're telling bankers, don't wear your banker attire, like your suits and stuff. Don't wear anything nice because you could get mugged on the street. It's getting that bad. They're telling the bankers in New York to dress way down, because it's just too dangerous. And people are saying Democrats are the problem. Yeah, there's a huge correlation between Democratic-run states and Republican-run, like going to hell in a handbasket. And then you have the Republican states that are doing somewhat better, especially economically. But let's not get it twisted, all right? The Republican Party and the Democrat Party aren't too different from one another.
Yeah, they have a lot of the same interests.
Mm-hmm. There aren't enough Leos to enforce a mass eviction
situation.
This
actually goes into our next topic quite well when he was bringing up the Democrats, and you were talking about how like the Democratic states run things or seem to be running their states into the ground, and the Republican states seem to be doing a little bit better because Republicans attack social media companies is the next topic, and some of the Democratic states, they are wanting more censorship. They're like encouraging these companies to censor people more. And the Republican states are introducing all kinds of legislation, such as in Ohio, HB 44-1, to make it so that any social media company that has 50 million or more users has to or cannot censor people just based on like their personal beliefs or their political stuff. Like if you're still like inciting violence or calling for violence, they can do it then. But it'll be interesting to see how that goes down. And it's really going to be crazy how like all these different states are going to have different laws. It's going to be really hard for the social media companies to actually manage.
Yeah, I think that this may be another attack on private companies as well. I think that the Republicans are being used in a lot of ways to destroy private property and to destroy private companies. And many people aren't looking at it from that way. And I think this is a very important angle to take, a perspective to take, to look at it at. So what I've covered before in regards to what happened to the Guidestones in Georgia, and also what's going on with that guy named Bill Gates buying up all this land, right? The Guidestones were on private property. You have the right-wingers, the truthers, who are ecstatic about the fact that they were destroyed, which is not good in my opinion because it's private property. It's somebody's private property. Somebody paid for that. And so you're lauding the destruction of private property. And then with Bill Gates, there's a Republican congressman who wants to take him to basically have him testify in front of Congress to explain why he's buying 270,000 acres of land and why he just purchased like 300 acres or 1,000 acres or something ridiculous in North Dakota. I think that these two things are an attack on private property, and the Republicans are sort of the Trojan horse for that attack, right? Because it's getting the right-wingers to essentially be okay with this antagonism towards what we believe to be evil, corrupt individuals doing these things. And so it's portrayed as something that's good, But in reality, it's an attack. It's a Trojan horse attack on your private property rights. Now, the Republicans are also doing this for private companies, right? Social media. I think that there needs to be a fine line, right? If your social media company is getting tax-funded dollars, then it does have a constitutional obligation to follow the First Amendment right. However, if it doesn't, then it's a private company and it should be able to ban whoever it wants to ban off of it. So the Republicans are acting almost as if this, whether they know it or not, but they're being used as sort of this Trojan horse to rip away our rights without us even really knowing it.
Yeah, both the parties are corrupt, man. They're the same, two different wings on the same bird.
Yes.
I don't know. I know you've been preaching some stuff recently saying that you think that rather than a third party rising up, you think that like one of the Democratic Party or something or the Republican Party will like create a new name for themselves, or
I don't know that
on that more.
I don't know that they're going to come up with a new name, but yeah, it's something I've been talking about. It sort of crystallized a few days ago when I was reading what was going on between the GOP internally regarding the Ukraine war, right? So you had some Republicans for it, a lot of Republicans against it. And then what you're also witnessing in the Democratic Party is a huge shift between like huge progressives and then your old head Democrats. And so what I think that you're witnessing right now is a morphing, an evolution, a devolution, whatever you want to call it, but some sort of change within both parties where they will no longer be what they used to be. It is changing drastically, and it's going to be used to essentially bring in a more hellish state, if you will, right? Because you're going to have the Republicans becoming more so pro-police, right, and pro-nationalism. And then you're going to have the Democrats going to be more progressive and pro-globalism. And you're going to have these opposing forces. And then they're just going to be more open against their, centrism, essentially, right? Trying to find common ground on, should we open the border? Should we close the border? Should we defund the police or fund the police, right? So ultimately, I think it's going to lead to the separation of states. And I think it's going to lead to private securities. And it's just going to be the way that the parties are going to play out in the future. I could be wrong, but that's what I think is going to happen. I don't think that a third party is going to rise up and replace anything. I just think that the third parties, if there are any that will rise up, will be basically acquiesced by either party.
Yeah, I mean, if they change the name and they like run on a different platform, I guess, then it's kind of hard to say it's not a third party, but we'll see what happens with that. But, I think this is all arising because there is like anger from the masses. Like the masses are like, everybody sees that, there's crazy things going on in the world and a lot of nonsense. And so, people are getting upset and they have to do something different. If nothing more than to change their name, like, Facebook changed their name, you know what I'm saying? Like, even if it's just like a mystical, not even a real change, but we're going to change our name and, we say we're going to run on, this platform, but really, politicians do it all the time. They say they're going to do this and then, what happens? So
exactly.
It'll be interesting to see what happens. I still think that there may be a third. I still think that Trump's going to run for a third party, man.
Yeah, I don't think so. I think he's going to run under the Republican Party. Somebody asked earlier in the comment section, is the Republican Party going to become the Christian Nationalist Party? Probably, but it's not going to be real Christian nationalism, right? Because they're still going to have to work in lockstep with the globalists.
He would just call it like the America Party or something, America First Party or something. Like, what if all the Republicans start throwing him under the bus and then he really has no choice? You know what I'm saying? Like,
that's not happening because there's already a rift.
Is Trump even going to be allowed to run? That's the big question.
Yeah, why wouldn't he
They're
be?
Trying to make him right out of where he can.
Yeah, that's going to fail.
Years to throw him in jail or some shit.
Yeah, that's not going to happen. It's going to fail. It's going to fail.
You think so?
100%, 100%, because it's built off of lies. Everything they're doing is built off of lies.
Oh yeah.
But hey, let's open this up to some people now, since we pretty much got through all of our topics, all of the main news topics. So we'll let some people in here now. Hey, what's going on?
Long-time listener, first-time caller.
Right on, right on. How are you doing, man?
Thank you. Welcome.
I thought you'd like that. I've been listening to you guys for a while. I agree with everything you guys are saying, but with the comments that you were just making, it's like what motivated me or compelled me, like, okay, I gotta join this discussion.
Hey,
I just want to point out that along the lines of the Democrats, saying Trump's going to go to jail, Trump's going to go to jail. I mean, if we look back, I mean, they've been saying that since he announced that he was running for president. I mean, so for what, 5.5 years now, so somewhere in that area. I mean, the Democrats have been saying Trump's going to go to jail for this, Trump's going to prison for that. I mean, they've been saying this nonstop for almost a half a decade, and yet here we are, and the man still isn't in prison. And Trump is literally the most investigated man in all of human history, and he's still not in jail. If there was something worthy of throwing that man in prison for, he'd be there by now.
Yeah, I tend to agree with that. However, they may have something and they're just not using it yet. Or if they use it, then they might be damning to others. So I don't know. But I'm willing to bet that there's really nothing at the moment. I would go off of that. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. He's also very rich, and rich people tend to get off the hook for a lot of things. Like they have the resources to avoid jail.
Right.
But also, and I'm not a Democrat or a Republican, but at the same time, they've been saying they're going to throw Hillary in jail for about a half a decade. And
right.
She's not in jail either. And they had, power as well, just a couple years ago. So, I mean, I'm not saying he's going to go to jail. I don't think he should. I'm just saying that's like the big question because, you have these big hearings of the day in January and.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I didn't interpret like you were saying he was. I was actually making my comments in support of what you guys were saying. It's like more support to kind of, further, validate, the fact that, he's not going to jail. I mean, he is true. There's no person in all of human history that's more investigated than Trump. If there was something in that man's closet to put him in prison, they'd have found it by now.
Probably,
well,
yeah.
I think the reason why he won't go, the number one reason why I think he won't go to jail is because I don't think the American people would allow it. Like if they
they would. They would.
Even if they tried to say, like, even if they weren't going to throw him in jail, but they said that, like, he's not allowed to run, could you imagine the amount of chaos there would be?
There wouldn't be any, dude. I mean, look at nobody stood up for him during the sham of what was 2020. We got to be careful in our language here, but obviously that was all nonsense what happened in 2020, and nobody stood up for him. American men are weak. They're not going to stand up for it. They didn't stand up for him already. They're not going to stand up for him again. It's not going to happen. It's going to be.
As embarrassing as that comment is to make and hear, I mean, I can't refute it. I mean, American men today, I mean, all we're going to do is complain on social media while drawing one imaginary line in the sand after another and saying, don't cross that one. Now, don't cross that one. Okay, you crossed that one, but don't cross this one. And that's all we're ever going to do.
Yeah, I mean, that's what needs to stop. Real men have a line in the sand that they're willing to put everything on the line for, literally. And we know that, and also really quick, Mick, before you add that, the other reason we know nobody's going to do anything if that happens to Trump, just look at what happened in 2019 when we shut the world down. Who stood up against it? There were a couple of us who said, I'm not wearing a mask. I'm not doing any of that. I'm not listening to your rules. There were a couple men like myself who took that stand, but most men just cowered and took it. They did nothing. They didn't even defend their family against it. So,
I took the stand against masks. Now, I will admit that I did in the very, very beginning, like the first couple of weeks. I did wear a mask, but it was only while I was doing research and listening and trying to figure out, is this a real legitimate threat? Once I determined that it wasn't, I stopped wearing a mask.
Right. Good. I mean, as soon as you're aware of the nonsense, we got to be careful with our language here. I'd really love to be open, but it's hard.
This is like the touchiest of subjects, and this is the reason why we have censorship. is because they don't want us to talk about these things. And this is the reason why men don't stand up for this, because they don't have a chance to.
Yeah, they
we
do.
can't even talk about this. No, it's true, Luis, because we can't even talk about this without getting kicked off. It's like everything has to be, we can't even talk about the subject barely without risk of getting, our voices shut down.
Well,
let alone actually doing anything. And I'm not advocating for anything. I'm just saying this is the reason, because the world we live in, you can't even barely talk about shit, dude.
No, you
Like,
can.
let alone-
You can. The thing is this.
Oh,
So,
really? Is that
yes.
why MLT today
Yes.
has no
So-
views on the last 4 videos? Because
I
they're
know.
not allowed to talk about things?
I get it. So yeah, there's shadow banning, there's censorship, but we also have to understand this. Every action has an equal and opposite reaction, and we're in the ending phases of this current insane censorship. The ending phase could last another 5 years, but it's fading out. It's not going to be long term, right? And things are turning around in a
Well, then
drastic
that would be more
way.
like the middle phase,
And-
because we're only 2 years into it. They
No,
haven't been doing it that
dude.
long.
Censorship's been going on way longer than you think. I follow somebody who's the most censored person ever. His wife can't even list their properties on Airbnb because she's his wife.
Yeah, but how long? But it started. I mean,
No, it's been going on for years, Mick. This is something that's been going on for years. Way before Alex Jones was banned. There are a lot of people on the very outskirts of the internet, on Odyssey and BitChute, who have large followings now because they've cultivated them over the years, but that have been censored and banned and unheard of from the masses for a long time. Owen Benjamin is who I'm referring to. Vox Day is another individual who's also been banned long before the censorship even came to be, right? Because these guys were talking about the hard truths that a lot of people are now able to joke about. Dave Chappelle literally steals Owen Benjamin jokes. You can go on Odyssey and look at Jim Brewer's interview with Owen Benjamin, because Jim Brewer had it on YouTube, but then he had to remove it because they were exposing all of the jokes these comedians were stealing from Owen, and how Owen Benjamin essentially paved the way for these politically incorrect terms. And now he's banned from every comedy club. This man has been banned long before. And so my whole point with bringing this up is you can fight it. It's ending right now. And while mainstream platforms like TikTok, while it lets us grow a large following, that's awesome. And YouTube is very, very censorship heavy right now. We do have other platforms, right? We have alternatives coming up. Odyssey's one of them. BitChute's another. And also the other thing that we need to do is being the content creators, being the content creators that we are at MOT Media here, what we should do is basically shift over everybody. Well, let me just finish this really quick. We need to, the other thing that people like us need to do is begin to slowly migrating our followers to other platforms. That way we have other layers of protection. So I get what you're saying, Mick. There definitely is censorship, but there's no need for men to be afraid to say things, because you can always make a new account and you can always do it again.
I mean, I get it. I'm not afraid to say things, and I'm not saying anything crazy to where I should be afraid. But I'm just telling you that I think the reason why people didn't stand up as much, it's harder to see like a giant, large amount of people doing it all together at the same time, is because it's hard to organize. And we saw that with the trucker thing in Canada. I mean, they were trying to organize and they were getting shut down.
Yeah, the Canada thing was all contrived, though. It was a psyop. That was all fake.
I mean, I get what you're saying, but I'm just saying, like, when people try to organize, whenever we try to use technology like the internet to help us to organize, because back in the day, I mean, they didn't have they had large uprisings back in the day, but it wasn't, it was by like word of mouth and stuff, to have, for people to really organize and try to create change with their voices and stuff. It's just like, we can't use the internet anymore.
Yeah, you can. That's insane. There's 4chan, there's Telegram, there's Reddit. There's so many places that you can use.
I'm just saying, I don't know, man. I'm just telling you what I think. Like, I think that that has a lot to do with the reason why, people.
No, I think the reason why is this: men have a lower testosterone than they ever have in their 20s, and men have no desire to stand up for anything in America. America has lost its identity, and therefore the men in America have no reason to fight for it. And nihilism is possessing the soul of so many young people today. And so that is what's going on, why men aren't standing up. They've lost God. They're not wanting to have families. They see no reason to continue and create and build. They think everything's failing. Everybody's getting black-pilled. And it is despair and low testosterone.
But I'm not worried about those guys. I'm not worried about those people. I'm talking about the people who actually care about this country and care about their family and stuff like that.
Then what they should do is very simple.
And
what they should do is very simple. If you're really concerned about your country, we have a simple message here. Localize your supply chains. Start your own little garden in your backyard with some chickens. That's how you do it.
How is that like you said that nobody did anything to stand up for this stuff? How is localizing your supply chain and starting a garden gonna?
Because it's not about because you have to get past trying to fight the system. It's very futile to do so. So what you should do.
You're saying that they shouldn't fight against this system.
No. So what I'm saying is that there should be a civil disobedience when it calls for it. During the whole thing that happened in 2019, that's where that should have took place. But it doesn't mean that you are going to be like you should be attacking or anything like that. No, the real agenda, the real move rather, is to have big families, localize your supply chains, swim sideways and build your own communities, build your own little enclaves outside of the system as much as you can, and make your own systems. When it comes time to do the things where you should stand up, then do so. But those aren't like, oh, we need to come in there and change the way the things are governed. No, that's all futile.
I get what you're saying. Actually. What you're saying is we should be more organized to where we don't need the internet and shit to be able to communicate our message to each other.
Well, no, you should be able to use the internet, and there are many ways to use it. You just need to, especially for like what we're doing here, like I've already stated, migrate people off to other channels like Telegram or, whether it be Odyssey or BitChute, to where we can speak more openly and there could be more deep conversations along these lines. And also on Telegram, it's like, you can really forge a community there, right? And you can also create your own forums, your own websites to have chats on and stuff. So it's not that you shouldn't use the internet. You should definitely use the internet. The internet's very big and vast. So there's many different things that you can use on it. Just to think about the main assets like Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, that's a little narrow-minded because there's so many other things that you could use on the internet that many people don't use, right? Like you and I are in the Beartarian app, right? The Beartarian Times. And nobody on there is posting about anything truth-related, anything political. It's all about, look at this cool stuff I'm doing with my family. Look at what we're building. Look at what we're doing. You need a job? Wham, we got a job. You want to meet up with other people that are like-minded? We got it. So there are platforms that offer exactly what you're talking about. So it's just basically being aware of those alternatives. But it's kind of like in the 1920s when abolition for alcohol was going on, right? And you had the speakeasies. So you had to know somebody to be able to find these speakeasies. And so that's essentially what's happening right now on the internet.
Yeah, I mean, we're like the shadow realm or some shit.
Yeah, and it's not going to last forever. It's really not going to last forever. And there's going to be a huge shift. There already is a huge shift taking place in the culture. Most people don't have the ability to see it for multiple reasons, whether it be they're just totally misinformed and brainwashed, or they simply don't have the intelligence to recognize the pattern. There's a lot of things to attribute to the fact that many aren't seeing what's taking place, the shifts. And we're talking about the shifts that are taking place. And people are becoming increasingly more right-wing, extremist. You know, there are left-wing extremists, but the ones that you really need to worry about are the right-wing extremists. They're the ones who would
I'm
actually
not
do
worried about
something.
none of them. I can't control what people do.
No, you can't, but you have to be mindful of what they may do and prepare and protect your family for things that could be negative, right? And I think that the right-wing extremists are going to be far more dangerous than the left-wing extremists. And that's what we're seeing the rise of right now.
Well, maybe that's why the U.S. House passed that bill on the top of the list there.
Yeah, I don't really. Yeah, I mean, yeah, I doubt it. I think it's for a lot of other things. We are true Americans. Who are true Americans? So
Maybe they're talking about mine's tomorrow.
Left-wing extremists are the crazies. Yeah, you just wait and see. I'm not calling the right-wing extremists crazies. I'm just telling you they're going to do crazier things than the left-wing extremists. I guarantee it, and you will be in shock. I can't tell you what I think they're going to do.
Shock and awe.
Yeah, I can't really say what I think they're going to do, but let's just say there will be some groups who are threatened, and I don't think it's good.
Yeah, I don't know. I've been trying to think more positive lately, man. Personally,
I'm very optimistic. I'm very optimistic. I'm just realistic that we are in a declining country. We are in a failed society.
You feel like you're more optimistic, like long term, but like
yes, short term it's shitty. There is no optimism short term because that's the reality of the matter. We're in the middle of a burning pit. Okay, it's not good. It's not good at all. Be aware of your situation, which is why it's like, yo, people in Europe are about to have their power cut off in the winter. Like a lot of people are going to suffer in the winter in Europe. Right, so that's not good.
To see, yeah.
So, like, there are real issues going on.
Russia's trying to drag it out into the winter because they know that they have the upper hand once it gets to the winter.
Yeah,
you know that was the whole game plan. It seems like we have to just drag it out to the winter and starve them off of gas.
It could have been that.
There's no way in hell they're going to be able to get the infrastructure to stay warm during the winter without our gas.
Right, and you know I want to say this too. You know,
the only way they'll be able to is if all of the gas that comes from Saudi Arabia to the U.S. goes to Europe and our shit just goes to like $10 a gallon. That's the only way they're gonna not die, like all freeze it up over there.
I don't know, but I will say this: that there are a lot of things to be optimistic about in the short term as well, especially if you're building up good communities, right? So I'm a very optimistic person, but I'm also being real. Like just because the reality which we face is grim doesn't mean that you can't have an optimistic perspective, right? You know this. I'm still building my company. I just potentially got a new client today, right? I got a few meetings to potentially gain more clients next week. So, you know, there's still like a bunch of things to be optimistic about. We have another baby on the way. Beautiful thing. I don't plan, God willing, to stop having children, you know, anytime soon. Right. So I'm very, very optimistic about the future. I just am very realistic about what is taking place right now and what should be done to prepare, which is why I'm helping out twice a week at a local farm as well. Right. I'm putting in the work to get a bunch of things localized for my family to prepare for the hardships. Right. And I think that it's going to come a time where a lot of people are going to have to embrace poverty. And I think that poverty could be very good for a lot of people. I know it sounds insane, but I'm serious. One of the reasons why men have gone the wrong way in America and why they failed America is because they become so materialistic. And everything is becoming so easy.
That. I agree with you on that whole the poverty thing. It builds character.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like that's why during the depressionary times, people who lived through that were very frugal and shit.
Right.
Like nowadays, and I think it really all comes back. It all comes back to the leadership. Like the government prints money, spends money. Like there's no tomorrow.
Yeah.
You know, and so like there is no. Everybody just thinks it's okay. Nobody pays attention to shit that's going on in the world. Everybody just pays attention to themselves and stuff, which there is something to be said about that, to, pay attention to like what's going on locally around you and stuff like that. But
Right.
there is something to be said about paying attention to what's going on in the world. But yeah, I mean, America has raped and pillaged.
Whoa.
So that's
Whoa.
R-worded. They've R-worded and pillaged the entire world so that we can live fat and happy, and that has detrimental effects to, after a century of that, you're going to have, that's going to have an effect on the psyche of the population.
Yeah, I think that karma is a real thing, and the United States is reaping what it sows. This is why I also say Joe Biden's right about the economy. We deserve what's coming to us. We are on the right path, and that path is recession and depression, in my opinion. It sounds like I'm being black-pilled, but really, I'm just stating what I believe to be the truth. And we deserve what's coming our way, and we need to, embrace it and accept our responsibility individually. What did we do wrong? What did you do wrong? Did you take the debt? Did you take the small hats debt? Did you take it out to get a mortgage? Did you do that to take out to get a car? Did you do that to go to school? Well, how did you participate in the destruction of America financially? How did you participate in the destruction of America because of your sinful behaviors? How did you contribute? Be honest about it. Everybody's contributed in some way, right? So I have my issues. I know I do. We all have our issues, and we just need to be honest about that. And then focus on fixing your own issues. And that all begins locally. That all begins in the household. So dads, be better dads, right? You should make it so you don't have your children going to these dang public schools where they're just preying on them. It's disgusting.
Yeah, you're totally right, dude.
How are you doing today, my brother?
Oh man, it's this guy. What's going on?
Hey.
What's going on, my brother? How are you guys today?
Don't go cussing and flipping out on us again, all right?
Right.
Right. You got a new name this time. How many TikToks do you have, bro?
Unlimited of them.
Nice.
But great to speak with you guys. I wanted to talk with you. You say, the car market is crashing, but I think according to many studies using a lot of empirical evidence, Grand Banano evidence, there is undeniable evidence that the car market is doing better than usual.
Okay.
Yeah, but the sales last month in July, the sales were down like 20% or some crazy shit.
No, they were up 28%.
Okay. I don't think that's true.
It is.
Okay.
The experts say so, Mick.
Experts say so, yeah. Some of the experts may say so.
Right.
I'm not here to decide what's disinformation or not. That's TikTok's job.
Well, the thing is, we have to look into top evidence, top people, top regulator. Mr. Pini Cohen has gone into studies like that.
Dude, you have to be a troll. There's no way you're real.
I'm not trolling. We have to look in, especially for something like this where the economy is in play with the car market. It's been studied by, top economist Shaul Armageddon that not only is it doing better than usual, but this is the second best it's ever done since.
What's that person's name? Shaul Armageddon?
Shaul Armageddon.
Okay.
Dude, I mean, why is Ford laying off so many people? Why is Tesla and Rivian, or however you pronounce their name, laying off so many people? Why are subprime loans?
Rivian, there is a big problem with those people, with the companies, specifically if you want to go on Ford. A lot of the reason that people are being laid off is because the sales of Ford only, not the car market, but Ford, are dropping due to the vaccines, number one. And
whoa, watch your mouth.
What?
Someone commented, said this guy's on All Lives Causing Havoc.
I think you're trying to get us banned. You should know better.
Whoa, no, I'm not.
Well, don't say the V word here.
Oh, I apologize. I didn't know that was not allowed. But number one is because of the V word. And number two, a big problem with Ford specifically is that the owner, Ford Gruol, has actually come out saying a lot of really bad things that has driven out a lot of sales, making a lot of employees homeless now.
So they're letting people go because of the V word?
Yes.
How does that make any sense?
Well, specifically, they mandate that you will have four shots.
Yeah,
Okay.
actually, that
Yeah.
does. I was listening to something on the radio yesterday, and there was a big problem with the military too, where they're coming up to some deadlines where people will need those things as well to join. And remember you were talking about how they dropped the GED.
Yeah.
Like all you have. Yeah, there's like all.
Well,
I actually heard that Ford specifically was getting pretty close to implementing that you will be fired and homeless if you are not going up from 4 shots to 5 or 6. They are looking to make it 6 because realistically they are trying to shut down the country internally so they can give a lot of fake studies from fake people. They will cite people like a lot of big universities who are clearly biased and are not in cooperation with Pini Cohen.
Wow, we agree on something.
I know, dude. I'm like shocked. What's going on here?
I know.
He's got a different name, different person. He's got multiple.
I know. He has multiple
personalities.
accounts, multiple personalities. We agree on this. Yeah. So, but I would say to this, though, to your comment regarding the car market increasing, you do know that we have been on a consistent decline as far as pricing goes for cars since January. It's gone down like 6.4% consecutively.
Well, I would say that's a good thing. If anything, it will make it cheaper, more sales. It will boost the economy. It will boost a lot of things, especially since cars are a big market. It will boost something like the GDP and a lot of others. The GDP, the GDF, the ABC, and a lot of others. I don't know what's funny about that one, but
the ABC. What the hell is the ABC?
It's another similar statistic to evaluate a country's economy, similar to GDP. You have GDF, you have ABC. Just because it's ABC, the 3 letters of the alphabet, when most people will teach you about ABC, unless you are a 1-year-old, and if you claim to be a 1-year-old, it's no problem. You can claim to be what you like. But, there is a lot of indexes out there. For example, the Greg Index.
What does the ABC stand for?
You're asking the letters?
Yeah.
What's the acronym?
Araga, right. Araga, Bol, Kol. Araga, Bol, Kol.
What? Was that like some foreign thing?
And then
is that like a foreign version of the GDP?
I can spell out the full name if you want to look it up.
Auto banking commissions? Someone in the comments said.
Yes.
That sounds like a Mexican dish, bro.
We have to take into consideration the economy, the GDP, the ABC, the corporations, how they are trying to internally go into the government, go up to people who are important, Nancy Pelosi, Mr. Biden, and other people, without them seeing, in a hidden uniform, trying with a suit to look like they're not evil, give a little swipe under the leg, strip them up, take all of the money in the pockets, and then walk away.
Right on. All right, man. Well, thanks for coming on. It's been a pleasure speaking with you.
Right to speak with you, brother. It's always good to speak with you. You are clearly very educated, and hopefully, my brother, you will join the Discord in my bio, and we will conquer together, my brother.
I don't think that guy is real.
Yeah, that guy probably works for TikTok. They're like, here, have as many 1,000-follower accounts you want. And then we got what was it? Someone here, Tech Mom. Tech Mom said another stupid live on TikTok. Man, these lives with the uninformed fool should be banned. Tech Mom should be banned. Kick her out of here. She's black. Tech Mom, go play with your Legos or something.
Let's be careful.
You be cleaning up your kid's puke or something.
Let's be careful, Mick. I'm with you. I want to say some things too, but he's real. I don't know what you guys are on about. What do you mean he's not real? I let him back. Okay, L host. Now people are getting upset at me, even though we had an amicable separation
No, that dude's whack. Like, that dude has cussed us out multiple times on different accounts because the dude's crazy. Like, if you guys want to follow him, go watch his shit. He should be making his own live right now. Like,
Yeah, nobody cut him. I mean,
whack.
you can just go
Hey,
follow him. So.
Guess what? We cut him off. If you want to come on, you can talk to, and then we'll cut you off. And what's on next?
Yeah, I mean, anybody
I ain't
that
got
wants
time.
to come on.
The dude's whack, like, for real.
Let's.
He'd be making up random stuff.
It's not whack. He makes clear and concise on it. I don't know. He only goes live on Mondays. Yeah, okay.
Great.
The car industry has fallen 13.3% from last. Yeah, I don't know.
I am salty. I just worked all day in a hot ass factory.
Chill
I'm
out.
salty like the sweat's on my body.
Chill out. ABC, that he's making stuff up. I mean,
That
the
was
Auto
hilarious.
Banking Commission, people are saying the Auto Banking Commission, but he said that wasn't that.
He was calling it like some kind of, it sounded like a Mexican dish. It was like abacola, something. Whatever.
Somebody
we're not here to
says-
talk about that guy.
Dude, he's living rent free in my head right now. Peony Cohen, the chairman
Yeah, we were
of board, bringing a wealth of leadership perspective. Chairman of, I don't know if this is him. Whatever. He's not making anything up. I don't know what you're talking about. Cool. Because I'm in the middle of a 16-hour shift and I'm not that salty. Dang.
You must not be as husky as me. You need to start eating
Right.
more. Eat some meat.
Cap has an important message
He's
to
probably
provide.
a vegan.
Right on. Yeah, I mean, if you want to eat the Beyond Meat, eat your Beyond Meat. I'll eat my real steak. You can eat your fake meat. That's cool. You do you.
pdcohen.org. That's what somebody just commented. That's interesting. I wouldn't even go to that website.
I am right now.
Probably get a virus.
I'm on it right now. This dude's definitely a troll.
That's probably who that guy is. That's probably his name.
Dude, that's so awesome. He's always like the top regulator, P. Cohen. Oh, man. If he was a vegan, he'd tell you, yeah, that's very true, the Podfather show. It's very true. Yeah, so anybody else want to hop on? Anybody else want to add their 2 cents into the conversation tonight? I'm 6'2", 270, fellas. Just smashed half a chicken and a double Whopper an hour ago. Right on. I don't know if the double Whopper's good, but I can't talk. I eat not the greatest.
Yeah, man, I was just talking junk, dude. I was just talking junk, that's all. But I'm not salty. I wasn't like upset with the dude. The dude's been on here multiple times.
The dude's a troll. The
and
dude's
I
a
know-
troll. He's a troll.
I know the
I
dude's
love
a
it.
troll, and he'd be like, and he's disrespectful as hell too. Like he cussed us out twice.
Dude, dude, just need to troll him. Like I know him now. I'm on to him.
But we did get a huge bump in like more people were watching. Like he has a band of merry followers that follow him around. Or
Yeah.
something. They go from like live stream to live stream.
That's what it looks like. What's going on, man? Sorry you got kind of steamrolled the
I
last
started
time.
getting a bad connection earlier, and if it happens again, I'll have to jump off again. I live out in the middle of nowhere, man, and my signal is bad at times.
Totally
All good.
understandable, man.
Yeah, I wanted to talk more about this assault weapon ban, man.
Yeah.
I mean, I know that, this has been talked for ages. I mean, this is nothing new, but I mean, if they keep pushing at it and keep chiseling away at it, I mean, sooner or later, you have to think that they're going to have some success with it. I mean, and if they didn't believe that themselves, they wouldn't keep pushing at it by now. And my question is, I mean, do you think that they're finally getting close to that? I mean, do you think that they might have at least some success with it this time around, or do you think it'll be a while before we see that?
No, under Bill Clinton's administration, they passed, a similar bill, and then it I think it's no longer in play. So something similar has already happened. So
no, it's not in play anymore. It was repealed.
Yeah.
Like,
so
because otherwise I wouldn't have my 9. Like, a semi-automatic weapon makes it is just any weapon where you pull the trigger over and over again and it keeps firing.
Yeah.
An automatic weapon is where you just hold the trigger in and it keeps firing, which is illegal.
Yes.
So if they ban semi-automatic weapons, then you can't even have, like, it's going to go back to like colonial times.
So I think that the assault weapons ban under Bill Clinton was under specific weapons, because it was in 1994, right? So the federal assault weapons ban, let's see, included. I'm looking it up right now. Semi-automatic firearms that were defined as assault weapons, as well as certain ammunition magazines that were defined as large capacity. It was a 10-year ban passed by the U.S. Congress on August 25th, 1994, and was signed into law by President Bill Clinton. And then it was, expired in 2004. So we already had something similar pass, and I don't know that they're actually going to be successful. I think that guns are too much a part of the United States culture for us to do away with them, and they'll just be I don't think it's a smart move. I don't think it's a smart move to try and do that. I think that would push a lot of people over the edge.
Yeah, I have to agree with you. That is estimated there's like 10 to 15% would willingly give up their guns, but the remaining 85 to 90% would hold on to them.
Yeah, and not only that, but then you also have to think about the logistics. They don't even have enough people to supply the Army right now in the Navy. Like, there's just not enough people. And the police forces, there are literally police forces that are all quitting because of the new city commissioner or the mayor that's coming in. Look into it. It's crazy. Like in North Carolina, an entire police department just quit. So they don't have the logistical power to even implement something like that.
Yeah, this next question along those lines, this isn't like a trap question or anything. It's truly just a question to understand your perspective of it. I mean, because there's multiple different ideologies, that people think about when it comes to why it is that the government's trying to ban guns.
Yeah.
And what is your perspective of it? Do you think it's truly that they just want to get these guns off the street, or do you think it has more sinister implications, along the lines of, pushing a further tyrannical America?
You can go ahead and answer that if you want to, Mick, and then I'll answer it next.
I think it has a more sinister thing. I think there's a more sinister reason. I mean, if you look at countries like Australia and pretty much any country who has banned, the right to bear arms, look what they've done. They spiraled out of control the past 2 years. So, yeah, I don't see any other reason other than sinister why they would deny people the right to defend themselves.
Yeah.
There's nothing good about it. It's just total evil.
Yeah, I completely agree with that. 100%. I mean, there's already states where you're no longer able to protect yourself in your own home if somebody breaks in, like in New York. You have to retreat and call the cops, and you cannot defend your home. It will be illegal for you to do so. So, yeah, it's very – but also we have to understand this. Everything is contractual. So you have to agree to it in order for it to have any weight. So really, the states that are enforcing things like in New York or California or something like that, it's because the morality is so low already that the people accept it. So
you think for something like that to be successful, the people would have to say, okay, yes, we're willing to just give our guns up?
100%. That's for anything. That's for any law they pass. For anything, it has to have a general consensus of belief.
Now, I'm not saying this is by any means the case, but I've often thought about different scenarios into how could the government get even the most staunch 2A supporters to turn in their weapons willingly without a single shot being fired. I was like, how could that possibly be done? And I thought about it, dozens of times, and I've come up with only one way. I'm not saying it's the only way, and I'm not even saying this way would be effective, but I can see it definitely having some an effect, if you will, on the people that do own guns, and it being largely effective. I'm not saying it'd be totally effective, but I do believe it'd be largely effective. But consider this, our kids, our children go to school, 5 days a week during the school year. Many states have school year round, and it's no secret that the government knows who owns guns and who doesn't. I mean, that's been proven many, many times by the ATF showing up on people's doors, and it's like, how in the hell did you even know I had this? That they know who has the guns. I mean, that's no secret. So what's to say if a government really wanted to, and this is a really scary thought if you think about it, but they more or less hold your kids hostage, if you will, imprison them within the schools. Schools would make a very good prison system if you think about it, very good detention centers. They hold your kids hostage within these schools and say, you're not getting your kids back until you bring us your guns, and we know which ones you have. I mean, there's many, many families that would be like, holy shit, my kids are on the line now, and they would give up their guns. I think it would be an alarming amount of people that would be like, okay, you win. You've got my kids. I want my kids back. Here's my guns.
Yeah, I don't buy that hypothetical. And even if they did, I would say this. No, I would say this. The parents who were already giving their kids up to the public school system, at this point, if you still have your kids in public school, maybe you deserve to have your guns taken away. Public schools are trash. They're garbage. And they're just destroying the mind of your child. So, yeah, I mean, first off, I don't think that situation would ever occur. But, yeah.
Yeah, I don't think that.
Nobody would open fire on the schools because the children are in there. I mean, it's...
Well, let's be careful in how we speak. Let's be careful in how we speak.
Yeah. Wait, that was a really good point, though, Podfather.
I think it would be at least an effective method to get people to turn them in. I do.
Yeah, I don't think it'll happen. But hey, Podfather, I appreciate you coming on again. We got a couple other people that want to hop on in.
Sure.
Really appreciate you coming in and supporting the show.
Buddy. Yep.
Hey, what's going on, Liam? I think that's your name.
Yo, what's up?
Yep.
Yo, can you guys hear me?
We can.
Oh Lord.
Yeah. First of all, I'm not American, by the way. I'm from the UK. Do I still have saying this?
Mercy, April, chill it in the chat there, buddy. Don't say crazy stuff like that.
Are you guys okay with me still having an opinion in this sort of stuff? Or?
Yeah. Go ahead.
We gotta be careful what we talk about, man. This is some crazy stuff.
Yeah. That's cool. So you guys pro gun, or are you guys up for taking it away? Like, what are you guys?
Pro gun. 2A. Pro 2A.
Okay. So you guys want to keep your guns? Is that what you want to do?
Yep.
Yeah. Okay. Why? Okay. Why do you guys want to keep your guns? Right. I'm from the UK. Right. I just have a question. I'm just asking questions. Right.
Yep.
Like, why do you guys want to keep your guns? Okay. If you guys can defund the police, right? Just say all police, right, got their guns taken away from them, right? All the shit police officers, like every sort of our enforcement for like police officers and all that sort of stuff, got their guns taken away from them, and only military personnel had guns, right? Just military, okay, but no police officers, no civilized human being, right, had guns either, right? Would that not make America more safe?
Who would have all the power then?
It doesn't have to be no power.
No, it does. It does. Think about your own question. Who would have all the power? Who would have all the leverage and violence? Think about it that way. Who would have all the leverage and violence? Answer the question. I'm reversing the question to you, because from a practical standpoint, who would have all the leverage and violence in that scenario?
Yeah, that's fine. But there's a delay. I'm gonna have to come off and come back on. There's like an echo, right? I'm gonna come back on, right? Give me a second.
Yeah, sometimes whenever you have an echo, it may be because like if you like even log out of TikTok for just a second to like look at your like if someone sends you a message, you'll be getting an echo. So
Yeah. So
Just
I'll
so
wait.
everyone
I know
knows.
there's somebody else that wants to come in, but let's let Liam hop on in and see what he has to say.
That fixed now.
All right. So did you hear my question? Who would have the leverage of power? Who would have more leverage? All of it, rather.
Like, is your question with the government? Would that be the right answer?
Well, I mean, yeah. I mean, that would be the logical answer, right? The military would have all
Right.
the leverage.
Yeah. Is that not? Is that a bad thing? I take it.
Why would it be a good thing if they have all the leverage?
I don't know.
Because the reason why I'm saying that, because here in the UK, right, the police don't have weapons. We don't have weapons, but somehow
There's a knifing every day,
yeah,
though.
there's
Somebody's
in the
getting
UK,
knifed every
criminals
day.
Still get their hands on them, right, for some weird reason, right? But
Yeah.
if there was some way that we can just get rid of all the weapons, you know what I mean? I think there would be a low rate of school shootings.
Yeah, but you're
murders.
never gonna get rid of all the
Murders.
weapons because people
Yeah,
use
yeah.
knives to chop up food, and knives are a weapon. You're never gonna get rid of all the weapons.
That's the problem.
And then you also have
People
this
can make
too.
explosives out of.
Well, hang
crazy
on.
random
Let's
things.
just stick with
And
the
I get
language
it,
that
I know,
we're
it's
using.
just-
Yeah.
Be careful with what I'm saying, but you're never gonna get
No.
rid of all the. You're never. There's laws against murder.
Yeah.
Okay, how's that working?
I see what you're saying.
And then also think about this: Cain and Abel. Whether you're religious or not, everybody knows the story about Cain and Abel. Cain unalived somebody with a rock.
Mm.
So I mean, why
Yeah,
give them
yeah,
all
but-
the leverage, and why not allow yourself to protect your family in the most practical way that you can? Right? Not saying that you need only a gun to protect yourself. You can protect yourself with your hands and many other things.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
why not try to have check and balance to the power of government as well? That's the idea behind it, really.
Here's the other logical thing, then, right? If you're not willing to give up your guns, at least if you're going to at least be a gun owner, right? I don't even know. The one thing I just don't agree with is the couple of things I've seen, right? Is these kids going into stores and picking up weapons from stores and going up shooting up schools because they're fucking mentally.
We got
They
you.
always blame their mental health, and it pisses me off because they've been bullied because I've had a bad childhood. That Nicholas Cruz, right? Nicholas Cruz said he was bullied at school. Who the fuck just wants to kill kids just because they've been bullied?
Yeah.
Do you understand what I'm saying?
Well,
They say
that
they
goes
have
a lot.
mental health issue.
It goes a lot
Yeah,
deeper
and
than
there's
that,
no
though.
there's no excuse for it. There is no mental health issue that justifies this.
Brother, look, I've got depression, I've got anxiety, I've been bullied at school, but that doesn't make me want to go and fucking.
We got you.
murder my
you.
fucking-
Yeah,
We got you.
yeah,
We
You know what
got
I'm
you.
trying to say?
Yeah.
Like, it's shit, it's stupid, it's pathetic, and the fact that these
It is
kids, right?
pathetic.
The fact that these kids go to these schools and shoot up these people,
We got you. We
right,
got
and
you.
then kill themselves at the end of it, they're fucking cowards. And that's where
Yeah,
I stand on it. Do you know what I mean? What they should do is right. They should take all guns out of shops, all of them.
Oh yeah,
right, and
that's
just give them to licensed people,
yeah.
licensed gun owners that have license and the proof of it. Do you know what I'm trying to say?
I do know
I
what
think
you're
it's
trying to
kinda hard
say.
for you to understand the American perspective because where you live,
I
it's like a
think it is.
totally different world.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but
yeah,
I mean,
100%, yeah.
you know, where you live though, there's a bunch of knifings. Like every day, there's a knifing. It's pretty brutal.
Well, I'm from Scotland.
Okay, you said the UK. You
could
said the
tell by your
UK, so
accent that
yeah,
you were Irish.
yeah. So Scotland's a little bit different than the UK.
Every American says that I'm Irish, bro. I'm from Scotland, dude. Ireland and
I know.
Scotland has totally different accents.
Yeah, they are totally different. I get it.
They speak like this. From Dublin. How you doing today? Dublin.
I got a little Irish in me. My beard turns orange sometimes, but it's been turning gray lately.
Yo, host, just one more question, right? American men are weak and men have failed America, right?
Yeah,
What do you mean by these two questions?
yeah. So there's statements. Yeah. So I covered it a little bit in the beginning, and I'll make it very concise. Men don't have a line which they're willing to put their life on, risk their life for. They become extremely materialistic, and they are a prisoner to their sins.
So, like, what do you like? Are you saying that men should? Like, I don't know. I think I might have picked this up wrong, but like, are you saying that men should go in the army, sort of thing? Is that what you're trying to say?
No. I actually talked some
what do
youngster
you mean by
out
that?
of joining the military the other day, because that's the dumbest thing anybody can do right now, especially in
Right, so
America.
what do you-
So what I mean is, don't be afraid to have a family. Stand up for what you believe in. Have a purpose in life. Don't be nihilistic. Know that there's a God in the world. There's a higher power. There's objective morality. And do good. Find the good, true, and beautiful in the world, and be willing to defend that and put your life on the line for that. Have something to live for. Be productive. Protect your family. Protect your community. And, just play your role. Play your role.
Brother, look, I respect that, right? I respect. Okay, I understand what you're saying. I respect what you're saying, but some men obviously don't believe in higher power. Right? Some men don't believe in God. Some men don't believe in any sort of religion. For example, myself, I don't believe in it, right? And whether they believe in it or whether they don't believe in it, it's their choice. Do you know what I mean? But I do believe that, yeah, they should, you know what I mean? They should protect what they've got. They should, you know what I mean? But, like, you made another point there. What else did you say?
Basically,
can you just repeat that sentence again, just one more time for me?
I don't know if I can repeat it word for word, but basically, have something that you're willing to stand up for and risk your life for. Look towards the future.
Family, is that what you're talking about?
Yes.
Like family, your wife, your daughter.
A lot of people don't have purpose in life. They have they're just living day to day, doing things with no purpose.
Maybe that's what they want to do. So why can't you just give them the choice for that?
They can, and this is what you get.
Well,
this is what you get.
They have nothing to fight for. If you're just living day to day with no purpose, if you don't have a foundation, something to fight for, and some people can't have kids, and that's okay. That's why family's important. Family's important, Then that's why big families are good, because then you know. Even if you can't have kids, you still have your family to fight for,
But at the same time, so if they don't fight for so if they just say they don't have anything to, like what you just said there, Ma.
Yeah.
Does that make them weak?
No, I actually don't think they're weak, and I would think
does that make them weak?
No, I don't think so.
Does that make them weak if they don't have anything that they believe in?
If they don't have a family.
No, not that. No, like what you said there was, you said if they don't have a foundation, if they just live life from day to day, does that make them weak?
Yes, it does. Very weak and susceptible to manipulation, depression, anxiety, all sorts of weakness.
What if they don't have any of that? What if they don't have depression, anxiety? What if they just enjoy it? You know what I'm trying to say?
They don't. Nobody that just goes through the motions of life enjoys the motions of life. That's where nihilism comes in.
Can I tell you something?
That's nihilism.
Right. Can I tell you something? I've done it.
And you're depressed and you have anxiety.
I've lived life day to day. Whatever happens next.
And you just said that you have depression and anxiety.
I've had no depression. The only way, okay, I'll tell you why. Right, I have depression, anxiety, right, from my past, from losing a baby, from fucking family, right.
Yeah.
That's where my depression comes from. My anxiety comes from getting hurt again. Or, a whole bunch of other reasons I'm not going to go into. That's where my stuff, my mental health comes from.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Not from living life.
I think you may have heard me wrong. I think you may have heard me wrong because I said yes. I'm not sure. I didn't really hear you, I guess, properly. But no, I don't think if you don't have a purpose, then you are weak because you have to have a purpose. Even if your purpose is, if you have no family, you at least have to have a purpose. You need to your purpose needs to be raising yourself up to not be sad and depressed and shit. I think that shit's all mental, dude. You cannot depression, anxiety, all that shit. Just imagine it's not even real. Just imagine that you are
No,
What
I
are
think
you talking about? You
no.
have a crazy imagination.
So
It's not a real thing.
yeah, so
So,
I get what you're trying to
what
say,
about the men?
placebo
What about the
effect.
men that
but-
kills herself, suicide? What about that sort
Well,
of
but
thing?
everybody gets sad. Like it's like, dude, at times you're gonna be sad. I think that shit's weak. I think
Me
if you
too.
kill yourself, that's weak, especially if you have kids.
Let's be
That's like
careful. Let's be
the
careful
worst
in our
thing-
language, guys. Come on, Mick. You should know better too, man. Let's be careful. We get banned so easily on here. Yes, it is a very.
We've never talked about this.
No, that's
particular
fine. Look, guys,
subject, so-
I'm just probably listen, right? People have like, especially
I know
men,
people
right?
have problems.
Listen,
I get it.
I mean, can I
We've
say
all had
something really quickly, right?
Yes.
Well, you just talked, right? Let me say something real quickly, right? Men have the highest rate of suicide, right? Because
Yep.
because of depression,
Yeah.
right? Okay. Many men don't speak out because of this reason, because you basically are saying they're weak just because they have depression, anxiety, right?
No, dude, I get it.
because no, you're not saying that. I'm saying that because you're saying it's an illusion. You're saying it's just,
It is.
you know, I mean, that's what you're basically saying, right?
The
But
reason
it's not.
why I'm saying that, though, the reason why I'm saying that is because I deal with the same things you're talking about. I've thought about it. I'm not going to lie. I've had a messed up life growing up. But the way I'm trying to deal with life is just, I can't dwell on these things. I have real life problems. I wouldn't even say that. I have 2 sons and a wife. I don't have time for stupid shit. Like, why would I kill myself?
That's dude. Just because you're shit. So some people can cope differently, bro. Look, I'm gonna tell you this, right? I've been through fucking hell.
I'm just telling you
right?
how I cope.
I know. I
This is
see
how
what
I'm
you're trying to
coping, is by just imagining that it's
say.
like I control my own happiness. That's my whole thing lately. Is like
But I
am
see,
in
yeah,
control
no, I
of
see
my-
what you're saying. I see what you're saying. But depression, dude. Depression is a fucking killer, dude. It's a killer, right? It really is a killer. And some people cannot cope, right, with life, right? I've been through so much shit, dude. So much shit. Probably like the same as you, Mal, right? You've probably been through so much shit. Hosh, you've probably been through so much shit, too. We've all been there.
We
You know
all
what I mean?
have. Smash the
Right.
like sign if you've been through
Like,
some shit. Like,
some people cannot handle life because of depression, because of anxiety, because of their own reasons, right? But saying men or American men are weak, you know, come on, like.
yeah, I don't think
my
it's really
opinion, but
helping the
there's-
situation personally.
Yeah.
I-
So here's the
I know
thing.
we've been talking about.
Here's the thing. I still
In
stand.
a way, it is. In a way, it could be helping the situation
Yes.
by bringing light to it.
So, well, it will definitely help because some men need to be told that they're being weak. All right. And it helps them tremendously. And also,
Yeah.
also,
Better to
Men,
hear it
just
from us.
some men get depressed.
It's better to
even
hear
more.
it
well,
from-
then
it's better to hear it
here's the
from
thing.
us.
Here's the thing. If you get more depressed from hearing that, it's not. I'm sorry to tell, but it's not my problem. I'm just telling you that right now, as a man, we work, dude. I don't know. I know you've been through some hard stuff, and I nobody can really experience that except for you. But really, at the end of the day, you're here for a reason, whether you accept that or not. There's a reason you're still breathing. So work, dude. Just freaking work. I don't know what else to tell you. I mean, we're here. I mean, work does wonders, man. Like,
Listen,
do things to take your mind off of the weak shit, because saying, oh my gosh, I'm sad because of the hand I was dealt in my life. Poor me, poor me, poor me. There's somebody in Africa, there's somebody in a third world country around the world that has had their family blew up by a U.S. military weaponry, and they're still trucking. They still go. They don't stop. They're like, I don't have time to sit here and contemplate these things. In the third world,
And they
nobody's over
scream.
there talking about offing themselves. Not a single person in the third world. Now, okay, that's I'm speaking hyperbolically right now, but these mental health issues don't exist in places where you are encountering reality every single day. Every single day, if you're encountering the really harsh truths of life, nobody's thinking about these thoughts. They're not, because they have so much more to really consider. And so really it's just work, find your purpose. If you end up doing that, well, I chalk it up to social Darwinism. I have no pity for people that do that. None whatsoever, unless you have like a terminal illness and you're in agonizing pain. That's totally different. But if you're a normal person, you don't have any like, terminal illnesses or anything like that, and then you do that, I have no pity for you. I never will show pity for people that do that. Never. It's weak. It's weak. You took the easy way out. And if that's the way that you want to go, that's the way that you want to go. I have no pity on people that do that.
But
Dude,
it is not.
Bro, that is just like, I don't want to come on here and cause an argument, right? Because you guys are entitled to your own opinion, right? And this, like, I'm just coming on here and asking what you mean, and you've just told me what you mean. Like, yeah, you're right. Fucking in the third world countries, yeah, people are fucking, shit's happening, right? These countries are going through shit as well, though. People are going through shit, right? Listen, just because people, right, are going for, dude, nobody thinks about these third world countries and when they've got their own sort of shit going on. Do you know what I mean? Nobody thinks of anything else. They think of themselves. Do you know what I mean? If they can't handle it, they can't handle it, bro. Like, dude, I'm a mental health, bro. Like, I'm a mental health advocate, bro. I speak to people if they've got mental health problems because I've been through shit myself. I'm there for people if you need it. You can see on my profile.
You're probably saving people's lives.
I am. I've saved many people's lives, many men's lives.
Like, dude, I agree with you that it's not, it's not a subject that needs to be made light of. Okay, but the reality of the situation is that, you have to rise up. I mean, you're talking to these people, talking to them, helping them get through it. Dude, my father figure growing up killed himself. And before he killed himself, I always thought, and I guess I shouldn't be saying this the way I'm saying it, but I always thought before that, like, the way I think now. So that was really hard on me.
Well, I just want to know, like, why, respectfully as men, right? Respectfully as men, why do you guys think like this, even though you know what's happening?
Because I think that it's wrong to do to your children. And he had 2 daughters.
But what if they don't have children? What about the
then you're disrespecting your parents. You're disrespecting your ancestors that fought saber-toothed tigers that bring you into fruition. All of your bloodline. No, it's very simple. All of your bloodline that brought you to be today, you're disrespecting them. It is the most disgusting thing a person can do, unless there are rare exceptions. There are rare exceptions. But in general, because you feel bad about yourself, you had millions of people before you that existed to bring you here. There was a great-great-great-great-grandfather who decided to go hunt with his tribe to keep your grandmother, your great-great-great-great-great-great-great-grandmother alive, so that way they had food to eat the next day. And then the next generation did the same thing and the same thing until you were here. There are so many people that existed and had much harder lives than we had for us to be here. It is disrespectful to your bloodline. It is disrespectful to your family. It is a disgusting and pitiful thing to do.
But at the same time, though, like, I'll go back to my original point. Nobody thinks about that. And
it doesn't matter that nobody thinks about it. It's a reality.
Well, maybe they should. That's why we're here. That's why we're here, so that people do think about that shit.
Why the fuck would someone care about someone fucking 3,000 years ago?
Because you wouldn't be here without that. Logically, you wouldn't be here without that. You wouldn't exist.
You just gotta expand your mind, like, dude, it's not all about you. I think that's the problem. I think the people who do this are like, it's all
very
about
narcissistic. It's very narcissistic. So be stronger than that. Find some. Just work, dude. Do some push-ups. Just do something.
I'm not saying like what you do for a living is not a bad. Keep trying to save those people, but maybe. So let me ask you a question. Since you said you do this like for a living or just volunteer to like help save people
I help people.
So like, what's your approach on it? Because our approach may not work.
My approach is if I can make their day a little bit brighter. If I can give them hope that you guys are not alone, that someone's there for you if you need it, go and speak to someone, go to a psychiatrist.
Yeah,
someone to listen.
I would do the same thing if somebody was talking to me and was saying things like that. I would definitely try to make them feel better and stuff. I wouldn't just say,
Yo, Mo, look.
And to be honest with you, I was talking to somebody that I really love that's very, very close to me. Probably one of my favorite people in the world. And I think they were just joking to me about it. And they were saying that, and I actually did call them out and say that they were being a B word because they have 2 kids on the way. Well, they have 1 kid and they have one on the way.
Yeah, good for
And,
you.
you
That's
know,
what they need to hear.
And that's actually one of the most close people to me in my life. So I guess that's the way I would react to somebody.
Me too. I literally reacted to somebody like that too. I was like, you keep talking about this stuff. Stop. It's like, stop being weak. You know, really, I'm all like, hey man, I want to see people live. And if you don't think that you have enough reason to live from your bloodline, then maybe you deserve to just do what you're going to do. Maybe you deserve it. I don't know. I don't have sympathy for it though. I have none.
Dude, have you ever been through shit in your lifetime, dude? Have you
Yes,
ever been
I
through
have. I have.
proper shit, bro? Have you
Yes.
ever felt sad? Have you ever
Yes.
felt really sad that no one's there no one can make you feel better?
Yes, and I get up and I work. I don't dwell on it, dude. I don't. I just do shit. I don't let it
Bro,
stop me.
bullshit, dude. Bullshit. I don't believe you.
I don't care
You
that
know why
you
I don't
believe
believe
me.
you?
You can project
Everybody
yourself
like that,
onto
bro.
me.
Everybody-
I'm
everybody's
totally
like it,
different
dude.
from you. Obviously, I'm different than you. We're built differently. Okay, you can project onto me, but I don't do what some other men would do and sit there and, oh, poor me, poor me, poor me. I can't do that. I don't do that. That's
my
not who
whole
I
thing.
am.
Yeah, you have to. It's
Some
all
men
in your
don't,
head,
though.
dude.
Some men
It's
just-
all
I
in
know,
your
and
head.
so
Through a whole bunch of
you're
shit
right. You're
before they
right.
get that low.
You're right.
Some men-
And guess
some men
what?
go through loads of shit before they get that
And
low.
some men go through all that shit and don't get that low. And that's why I'm saying it's
That's
all
fine,
in your
yeah,
head.
obviously I understand that. Yeah, I understand that.
So
But
it's
some
in your
people-
head.
Some people go through loads and loads of shit. Like me, I've been through so much fucking shit that I can't even compare, bro. Right? And just me losing my child put me over the edge. Because I thought that would never ever happen to me in my lifetime.
Yeah,
That
that's
put me
very
over the
hard.
edge.
That's very hard.
And
I
that's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
Only so much shit you can take before you think, nah, I can't do it anymore.
right.
Well, listen.
Well,
Liam,
hey, let's
I think you
let's
can do it. You can do it, bro.
And look,
Listen,
I am. I'm here right now. I'm here right now, and all
Dude,
I'm saying
Yeah.
is, look, guys, all I'm saying is, right, some people can, right, and they don't need men to tell them they're weak.
yeah,
Okay,
we
that's
have
what I'm
different
trying to say.
opinions.
That's what I'm trying to say.
We have different opinions, different approaches, and that's totally fine.
Right, look, let's just stop talking about this, right? But thanks for having me on, right? I respect you guys. Thanks for having me on, guys, right?
Likewise. Thanks for coming on, man. And I'm sorry to
Take
hear
care, guys.
about
Take
that.
care.
peace.
All right, we got somebody else that wants to come on in. They've been waiting for quite some time. What's
Oh,
going
my-
on?
Oh no. He had the Chief
How's it
Wahoo
going,
symbol and everything.
How's it going,
Oh,
gentlemen?
he's still here.
It's going well.
It's like
Yourself?
an invisible box.
How do you feel? What do you mean? What's going on? Something wrong?
No, you're good.
No,
You're
I just
good.
don't. His box isn't there like the other guys was.
It is for me. It's just your screen. Yeah, you're all good. You're all good. What's going on, man?
So my main disagreement is with I do agree with a lot of your points on what you said about the 2 questions: American men are weak and men have failed America. My problem is, how's the best way to put this? See, I've met people who have nothing to live for. There is nothing for them. Like, obviously, just soldier things, my title, I'm in the Army, right? When I went through boot camp, I had a couple of my platoon mates literally give their $400,000 life insurance policy to their drill sergeants
Yeah.
because they're the only thing they have in their life. That's the only figure they've had in their lives. And a lot of those kids just have nothing to live for, and they get depressed because when they join the Army, they realize how, well, shitty it is. The Army is a really, really shitty job, but I found my place in it. I like it. But the problem I see is you have that conversation with them and tell them to man up, suck it up. That's how you end up with one less friend in your friend pool. Not from them leaving, but from them actually ending themselves. And it sucks, man.
Yeah, I get it.
Really does.
I get that. I don't know. I just don't have sympathy towards it. If they do that to themselves, maybe they don't belong to be here. It sounds
Yeah.
harsh.
I'm sorry. My main thought process behind that is a lot of the times they'll see themselves as they're making the world a better place by ending it all.
Yeah, it's very
That's what they
narcissistic. Yeah, it's very narcissistic because they think the world revolves around them. It doesn't. It's much bigger than them. So if they do that to themselves, they're dishonoring their entire family. And I don't have any sympathy for that. I don't.
Someone's got to clean up the mess, even if it's someone you don't even know.
Right.
Like, I know that sounds terrible, what I'm saying, but it's the reality of the situation. Nothing good comes from it.
Yeah, it doesn't.
Well,
only
in their eyes, it
more
does.
horror comes.
In their eyes, it does.
Yeah, because they're
Well, they need to
narcissistic.
open their eyes a little wider.
Maybe
Yeah.
they can't do that. Trust me, I've had people think that there's nothing in this world for them. I've met people who have been so down and depressed and broken that they're just like, you know
Yeah.
what?
Yeah, the devil's very powerful, man. The devil's very
I mean,
powerful.
this really isn't much of a debate, in my opinion, because the people that are going to do it are going to do it, and the people
Yeah.
that aren't going to do it aren't going to do it. Like, it's just kind of like, I don't know. I'm not religious, really. I mean, I pray to God and stuff. I don't even know who God is. Like, I'm more agnostic than, Louise is like a Christian and
I
something.
got you.
But, I'm trying to figure out what the truth is. And so, I think that if somebody does it, we can't control it. But whenever I was younger, I thought maybe like that God wrote a book and everything was like, he can, everything happened for a reason type shit. And when I think about this subject, I almost am starting to think like that's the way it is. Like if someone's going to do it, they're going to do it. You can't control them. Like, just like everything,
Yeah, so let's change the
can't lead a
topic
horse
up.
to-
Let's
you can lead
change.
a horse to water type thing.
Let's change the
Yeah,
topic
but you
up.
can't make a drink. I got you.
Yeah, let's change the topic up. All right.
Okay. How about
Good
what's your
idea.
thoughts on the assault weapon ban? Because we're getting kind of depressing. Let's be honest.
I'm totally cool. It gets me fired up. Gets me inspired to talk this way. I'm cool.
Oh, I'm kind of cutting out a little bit.
Yeah. So the assault weapon ban. What's your thoughts?
Shall not be infringed.
There you go. I like it.
But I actually can't say but on that because it shall not be infringed. What's so hard to understand about that?
Facts. It's very simple.
Hey, Chief Wahoo Man, Just Soldier. So you're from Ohio? You should like the MOT Sports page on TikTok. We're from Ohio too.
I just like the image. I think it's cool because if you look at it, he's wearing a fast helmet.
Yeah, I can see
So
that.
you're not from Ohio?
No, I'm from another Midwestern state.
Right on.
Oh, dang. Well, which one? Why? What's the problem?
He doesn't want to say it. You don't have to say it if you don't want to.
So I'm from South Dakota originally. Chris, with all that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I've been all over the Army. I lived down in Texas for 4 years. Now I'm living in Washington. And
Nice.
honestly, I love Texas. Texas was awesome. Like, I'm not gonna lie to you, the base I was at was terrible, but the area around it, so amazing. I love being down in Texas. But Washington, I love the base, but I hate the area. We're right outside Seattle, and such a shithole. I'm sorry. It's a terrible place. Like, the first week I was there, we're driving downtown. We're kind of like, me and my family are seeing the sights because they helped me move up here. And the first thing I see is a guy crossing the sidewalk, take out a needle. I don't know if I can say it.
Yeah,
say
we
that,
got where
but-
you're going though. We got where you're going.
And he started
Yeah, and then-
knitting a sweater. Is that what you were
No,
going to say?
and-
He started knitting a sweater?
Wink, wink.
A sweater with a lot of
Yeah.
contents in it, and then proceed to take a dump on the sidewalk right in front of us. So, yeah. Not the
But they
best
cleaned
first
it up with the
impression.
sweater, right?
Oh, yes, the sweater. The sweater. That's the first time I've ever thought about that. Knitting needles, god damn it. Mm.
I always thought Washington would be cool state to live in because they have the mountains, they got the ocean, they got like everything, you know.
Yeah. The western half, not the western, the eastern half of it is actually really nice. I'm not gonna lie. Eastern half, once you go through the passes and everything, it's really beautiful. But
Yeah, I thought it would be cool to like live somewhere like deeper into Washington, and then like you have access to the beach.
oh no, it's expensive to live here, bro. I'm telling you, it is stupid expensive.
Yeah.
Yeah, like food, housing. They have the BAH they get here isn't even enough to cover some of the housing. So a lot of people will end up rooming together and getting roommates, multiple people living together, and that's how they'll live with their families. They'll have like 3 or 4 other families in one house.
What, for the military?
Yeah.
So then, like when they start breeding, how do they deal with the A word? Do they do that? Do they ship them somewhere, or is that okay in Washington?
I'm not sure. I haven't really looked into it too much because I don't have a family. I'm living in the barracks. They had me living
in the military. Is there a lot of interbreeding going on there?
Well, just to give you a rough idea, I came from Fort Hood with the Vanessa Ewing case. So yeah.
And this, ladies and gentlemen, is why there should only be men in the military. One of the many reasons.
How do you feel about that, you being in the military?
I believe there's a
I feel like
standard.
you should have no problem getting some, so that should.
I got the strength, but I'm butt ugly.
That has to do with our society, Women they'd rather have a thug than a military man, I guess.
No, man, it's very simple. It's very simple.
Military, I'm not gonna lie.
No, dude, it's very simple. Women just want somebody that's dominant. That's all.
Here's my thought process on the women in the military. There is a standard. There is a solid standard that if you can meet it, you should join. I don't care who you are, as long as you meet that standard. We should be a professional fighting force, first and foremost. We're here to win our nation's wars through hell and high water. And if people can't make that standard, like I said, I don't care who you are. If you can make the standard, you can make the standard. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but we all know that can't happen.
So you support everybody enlisting at some point then?
Honestly,
if you can make the standard, then you should join and serve a little bit?
Yes, it's a very interesting thing because there's a lot of problems in the military, but it does teach you a lot of good, useful skills. It teaches you discipline, how to work through things, how to be a stronger man, how to be a stronger person. It's a very useful thing. And right now is the best time to join. America's not at war with anyone right now besides Iraq and Syria.
That's the most insane thing you ever said.
And Lordy.
That's the most insane thing.
Where did our $50 billion just go the other day?
That's the most insane thing. It's the most dangerous time to join the military as we approach war on 2 fronts. It's insane.
Well, is this more dangerous than the time in September back in the early 2000s?
Probably it's going to be.
Honestly,
why join the military of a falling empire? That's the most insane thing I ever heard. I would encourage all men to be more productive and get a valuable trade to build up your local community and plant some seeds, get some chickens, and get a wife. That would be much more productive and much more American than going to fight for banks overseas in a foreign land, which the rituals are satanic and evil. Stay away from war. Stay away from the military. It's not a good place.
Here's my thought process on that, right? You don't have to be an infantryman. That's what I do. I'm 11 Bravo. I'm infantry. But you don't have to do infantry. You can do finance. You can do plumbing. You can do carpentry. You can do all these jobs. There's a whole support system for us infantry folks that you can do. And these will teach you these valuable skills. That way, when you get out, believe it or not, actually, once you get out, there's a whole skill courses that is offered to you for free. It's 6 months long, and it's all these automotive,
Yep.
electrician, plumbing, woodworking,
Yeah.
carpentry. All these skills are offered to you.
Yeah. Yeah. I have a lot of
I'm
veteran
granted
friends. I know this, man. I know a lot of veterans, and I went to school with a lot of veterans as well. I know that there's many different pathways an individual can take by joining the military. But why do you want to go into something that is? Why would you want to be in a military of a falling empire? America's fallen. There's no recovery.
Easy.
It's insane.
The benefits out. Like I said, you don't have to be in a combat position. You
I
can
know.
be in a complete support position.
But do you
and get the
understand what
benefits
happens
from
to
it.
militaries in a declining
that way-
empire? Militaries in a declining
sorry, I
empire.
interrupted.
Militaries in a declining empire are not a good place to be, because then you're no longer fighting or even doing anything for your country. It's taken over by foreigners, and that's exactly where our military is at. We fight on the behalf
It's a good way.
of somebody with
Here's
the
the
Star
thing,
of David.
It's so you're using the military as a springboard. You're taking advantage of the government that's wrong and has done so much wrong to you. You are literally scraping every penny out of them that you can. So that
Which
way
in
you
turn is
can,
destroying
once
the
you get out
economy.
after 4 years, is you can jump out and do what you said. You can go plant
Which
some
in
seeds,
turn, though,
find a wife. The agriculture is actually part. Did you know that there's an
yes,
agriculture MLS
yes,
in the
I get
Army?
it, and I think that we're going to be on totally different pages here, and that's totally fine. You feel strongly about it, you're in it, and that's cool. And I totally get what you're saying, man. I really do. But really,
Hey,
all you're doing
I have a question
is
for him.
really quick. All you're doing though is you're taking you're basically supporting socialism, right? That's what you're doing when you're in the military, because the government's funding everything for you, and you're their slave for 4-year contracts. And then if you want to do it until you're 25 years, then you get full retirement. Awesome. But essentially, you have to get injected with all the poison. You have to do what they tell you to do, and you're fighting for an immoral country, and it's just banker wars. And you can get these badass pensions. You can get. I know, like I said, I know veterans, dude. So I know that people are coming out there with no real disability, right? But they're like, oh, I was in this one accident, and so my shoulder hurts a little bit. Now I get a $500 check every month from the government. All they're doing is just sucking everything else dry, just like every other person that anybody who considered themselves conservative, Republican, or fiscally conservative would say, oh, they're low lives because they're on welfare, right? So the military men do similar things with their disability, and so basically you're just it's just a form of socialism. And if that's what you want to support, that's what you want to support. And I don't get me wrong, militaries are needed, but I think right now our military is totally inverted, right? You got to get injected with poison. You have to accept opposite genders to be in the military. That to me is insane and immoral. That should never happen. We should protect our women like super, super, super much. And also you shouldn't be like, I know people that are currently in, they get in trouble for talking out against these prideful things, right? It did go woke. The military did go woke, right? Your person, it's insane. It's insane. It's insane. I don't encourage anybody to go to the military. There's much
Here's
better
my
things
thing,
that you
though.
can do.
How many military members do you know that are socialists? How many came out?
None, but it doesn't
believing-
matter, because whether they realize it or not, they're supporting socialism, because they gave up their lives for X amount of years to get X amount of dollars at the end of it and it's not even going to last forever. You do realize, like, Social Security, Medicare, Medicaid, all these things are insolvent, right? We're in $104 trillion in debt, probably much more that we don't even know about. And there's no way that these funds can keep up forever. And so then what's going to happen to all these angry military men who ended up supporting a military that was doing no good for them? What constitution are you protecting in Afghanistan, in Iraq, in China, in supporting Ukraine? You're not protecting the Constitution. You're not protecting the United States of America. You're protecting foreign interests. You're protecting bankers.
In the end, I'm not going to say you're wrong, because there's a lot of things that the military has as going over to do. But at the end of the day, I know what I did in Afghanistan was set up wells, was help communities. There's a reason why thousands of people were boarding and sitting on landing gear to get out of Afghanistan. It's because we gave them a taste of what freedom, what the American dream would look like. And they wanted that. They loved that freedom. They loved that taste. So when we left, that's why they were climbing all over this, all over the plains. That's why they were literally sitting on landing gears. They had no idea that they died. They just wanted to get out of the totalitarian government that would be the Taliban.
Yeah, well,
isn't it?
Do you know why? I mean, the real reason you guys were over there, really, now that we know this, is to defend poppy fields. And so that
opium.
Yeah, poppy fields.
I don't agree with that. I think it was a little bit more than that.
It was one of the main reasons.
We could grow that here if we wanted to.
Well, it was one of the main reasons.
Why would we wage war? Why would we wage a war over something we could just grow here?
It was one of the main reasons. It was one of the main reasons.
What?
I said it was one of the main reasons,
well,
not
why?
the only reason.
We could grow that here. We can't.
Not to the scale that they were doing over there.
We can grow it here. We have
not to the scale that they were doing here, and plus it's going to be a lot easier to establish a shadow government as opposed to trying to do things under wrap in the United States, where things are already kind of a little more corrupt in that nation. So it's going to be easier to have things to facilitate over there as opposed to over here.
So it'd be easier to grow it and manufacture it over there and ship it all the way half across the world.
Yeah, I mean you have
just do it here.
Yeah, because you're expanding your supply chain. You're expanding your supply chain, bro. It's a global supply chain.
Be more secretive that way.
No, it's not that it's secretive. It's not that it's secretive. It's that you're expanding your supply chain. It has a global reach. You're setting up different bases.
Yeah. So I had a question for you, Just Soldier. You said that they teach people the automotive stuff in the military.
Yep, down at Fort Hood.
Do they teach people how to work on EV stuff? Like, where do you see electric vehicles fitting in the military?
I'd say it's not that we're switching over to electric vehicles. There's a proposal. There was a bill that was being looked at or being examined in the House that they would start switching over military vehicles into EV, which is, in my opinion, stupid because you're going to carry around a big old flammable battery. It's just going to be a huge flammable target because EV and stuff like that. But right now, there is no automotive skills that would teach you to work on EV and stuff like that. But I'm assuming it's going to happen sooner or later just because it's becoming such a popular thing. It's becoming a more mainstream thing to have an electric vehicle. You know what I mean?
So do you think that the military will become carbon neutral anytime soon?
No, we're shooting uranium shells out of our tanks still. We're a long way off from that.
Okay.
Yeah. But honestly, a lot of the soldiers, I've seen in the comments a few times that, my brother went over there to die for nothing. No, he did make a difference. When I was over there, a lot of people helped out. A lot of people went in and were setting up wells, funding communities. We created the first girls' school over there, so that way.
Yeah, so you're destroying another. So that's the other thing that's really disgusting about what the military is doing is that you're tearing down other cultures. You're like, let's Americanize and Westernize it. Girls should go to school. They think totally different than we do. They have a totally different religion. Let them do what they think. What if they don't want a girls' school? There's girls now that are persecuted for going to school for the schools that Americans probably helped set up. They probably made the girls' life much more dangerous. What happened
when the Taliban took over?
Yeah, the Taliban's based, dude. The Taliban's based in a lot of ways. They get it. Sharia law is based in a lot of ways. America does not promote freedom. America promotes insanity. The Sharia law is much more based than the American law, than the American culture. Sharia law is much closer. Sharia law is much closer to what Christianity should be than what most Americans even consider Christianity.
You've got to remember, these are the same people who sent children into these schools with suicide vests.
And you have to remember that you were over on foreign
land.
land. You also have to remember that you were on foreign land attempting to destroy their homes. They had nothing else but to fight. Either their children were going to die from the hands of Americans, or they had to fight and risk their lives for the God that they believe in. So I would say, I'm not saying that I agree with this wholeheartedly, but I'm just saying that, you were in their home and they did everything they could to defend their home.
Their children weren't being persecuted by us, though.
There's
shoot at kids.
Well, I know people in the military who have had to do things to children over there, and they have to live with that every day. So all I'm saying is that we're going over there fighting a war for nothing. There's no need to be over there fighting a war. You're doing more damage than good. I know it's really hard to see. I get it, but it's not a good thing to be over there. Let them be them. There's no need for Americans to be over there.
Personally,
what is it, like a million of the Iraqis?
A million Iraqi what's? I'm sorry, you cut out.
A million Iraqis lost their well-being because of us.
Yeah, just let them be.
We're still over there. We're rebuilding the stuff we destroyed.
No, we're not. I mean, we're westernizing it. We're totally.
Make any sense.
We're doing the same.
Just like we ingrained Western ideas with the Marshall Plan after World War II.
Could you imagine if another nation did that to us?
Exactly.
Like,
that's the point.
It's just a million. We're gonna rebuild it.
Exactly. It's not cool. Like, I get it. You want to defend the military. You have every right to do so because you're in it. I get it. I totally do. But to me, it's like, what if, like Mick said, if another country came here and I had sons and my sons were young, but they were old enough to pick up something to help combat the coming groups, yeah, they would be on the front lines too, protecting their mother, and I'd be protecting my wife against foreign intruders. So, I can empathize with what they did. Do I agree with the tactics? No, but you're coming on their land for what reason? Why did we even go over there? There were no weapons of mass destruction. They weren't even involved in that thing called September. There was no need to be over there. None whatsoever. Zero.
With Iraq is they didn't have WMDs in the traditional sense, but they did have chemical grade Scuds, medium range Scuds that could threaten one of our main oil suppliers, which was Saudi Arabia. Also, you got to remember, Saddam Hussein was still in power. The tyrannical dictator that honestly should have been executed in the first Gulf War. He should have been dead after the first Gulf War, but he wasn't. So that's where we should have left it. After we killed Saddam Hussein, we should have packed up and left Iraq.
We shouldn't even did that, because what did that do? That just created anarchy in the state. It made it much worse. Leave them with their leader. Leave them with their dictator. Dictators aren't all, just because they're a dictator doesn't mean they're bad. We have this misconception of dictatorship. There are many different forms of government.
Was Saddam Hussein good?
I don't know, because there's so much propaganda in the United States. He probably was a lot better than we say he was.
Look up what his son did.
I know. So once again, we can look at what the United States are saying about it, but I've met people that are from, not necessarily that lived under Saddam Hussein's regime, but for instance, I met people while I was in college who were foreign exchange students from Iran, and they love Iran.
Mm-hmm.
They think Iran's the shit. They're like, I'm going back to Iran after I get my degree.
Mm-hmm.
JB's son's out there smashing while representing 2A and the CRAK.
Fucking Hunter Biden, Lord, what a dude! Don't you just love that guy? Just one of the best people of all times.
Yeah, for sure.
I don't love him or dislove him. I just think it's very interesting how we're the only ones talking about it.
Bro, isn't he facing like child sex trafficking charges right now?
I don't know what he's facing, but we got to be careful on the language we use here.
Oh, my bad.
It's all good. It's all good. Trust me, if we were sitting like having a drink at the bar I don't care what you say. I'm not offended by any speech. It's just
Oh, no,
TikTok
I know
is.
I know what you mean. TikTok is though.
Yeah, exactly. So, yeah, I mean, Hunter Biden's a trip. The Biden family is obviously not cool. They have they have a disturbing past, that's for sure.
Who do you think is worse, Clinton's or Biden's?
As far as like degeneracy, I would probably have to say, from what we know publicly, Biden's. I mean, I'm
I can
sure
get
there's some
behind that.
people
I can
that
get
can.
behind that one.
I'm sure there's some people who know a lot more about the Clintons than I do. That would argue the Clintons. But hearing the things that President Biden's daughter wrote about him, and what his son referred to him in their private chats, it's interesting.
I completely forgot about that. Oh my Lord, in harmony.
Yeah.
Oh Lord.
Yeah, I kind of just, I don't know. I guess they're on equal ground to me. I just think that they're both, the same. I'm mostly upset with them on the fact that they're steering the country in the wrong direction more than anything else. I think when you're in a leadership position like that is like the highest standard, and if you fail on that, and that's why you had like Versailles and all that.
Mm-hmm.
That's why we need.
How bad? Say again.
I was going to say this is why we need a king. We need just one king for the entire lifetime, for his entire lifetime, and then a lot of this corruption would subside, would be mitigated.
You know what would work well with a king? Weak men, because
Not
imagine
really.
if you had a king with all weak men, and
Yeah.
then they would never rise up because.
Well, that would be a weak kingdom, so it would not be good. It would be very bad.
That could be the name of it, Weak Kingdom.
Yeah.
Weak Kingdom. Change the United States of America to a weak kingdom.
There we go.
The soy boy kingdom.
Yeah, that's what it would be.
Uh-oh.
That's what it's becoming.
That's all we export is soy. That's all we produce
Right.
is soy.
We got a comment here. Who did
Soy and
men
poppies.
fail America? Why did
Soy
men
and
fail
poppies, yeah.
America? For a lot of reasons that we covered earlier in the show. But men are the reason why society's crumbling. You can't blame any of this on the women or children. It's all the men's fault. Men are the leaders of society. Men are the leaders of the homes.
That's why they always spare the women and children, because the women and children are innocent, bro.
How about Sharia law? Sharia law is pretty based in a lot of ways, from what I understand. So I'm not opposed. That's such a coincidence. I went to turn Australia into Chad Kingdom. There you go. That is true. Yep. Are you serious? I'm very serious. Men need to stand up. Yeah, just be a dad. Be a good, uncle. Be a good brother. Be a good son.
Yeah.
Grow some
that's
food.
right.
I
Get some
completely
chickens.
agree with that statement. We need more people to realize that abandoning your child is not very cash money of you.
No, not at all.
There's nothing.
Yeah.
You might as well do the other thing we were talking about earlier. Like,
So-
if you're not going to take care of your kids, you might as well just do the other thing, because that's basically what you've done.
Right. So then we got somebody here. The
Sorry.
American women being useless and spoiled kind of makes it their fault too. No, it's their dad's fault for being not good fathers. It's not the women are completely led by men. I don't care what anybody says. Men shape a woman. They do. If anybody's been in any relationship, I've been in plenty. Every relationship I've been in, the woman picks up my mannerisms.
I have a question for all the men out there. How would you like to shape your woman? Would you like to reshape your woman?
You're opening a big can of worms there, bud.
Oh, wait, that's actually kind of misogynistic. Okay, that's fine. You can call me what you want. I just know how to deal with women, and that's all. I've had my fair share of women. I know how to deal with them. And I'm telling you that they want to follow you. I mean, come on, guys. They don't even know what they want to eat. They're hungry. What do you want to eat? I don't know, but I'm hungry. It's so simple. Hey.
you want to start up a food chain called I Don't Know?
Yeah, we should. And then we can just have them go there.
Yeah, there we go.
All right, Just Soldier. We got somebody else that wants to come in. Thank you so much for coming on, man. It was a really, really good discussion.
I appreciate you guys.
And I wish the best.
Thank you, buddy. Have a good night.
You too. Take care, boys.
Oh, well, they no longer want to come in. That's okay. If they want to come on in, you can come on in. Let's just look through some of these comments, and then we'll probably call it a night if they don't want to come in. Applying women can't shape themselves. Yeah, okay. I mean, we see how that's working. Men were so busy working, they didn't have time to deal with the house. Yeah, that's kind of an excuse, but I get what you're coming at. My wife had
Well, he says, but men need to learn to work and take care of the house.
Yeah.
Is what he's saying.
That's those overgrown girls I'm talking
That's
about,
true.
not
the
women.
men need to be working while the women take care of the house.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
But men,
I get what he's saying, though.
I don't know. I mean, do you? I know you do. You help out around the house, right? I mean, we got to help out. You know, it's our house.
Well, yeah, I mean, really only because my wife's super pregnant. So there's a lot of things that she can't
And
do
she's
right now.
taking care of two babies. You know, we got.
Yeah.
They can only do so much. We have to. We're the men. All right. We got to do what we got to do.
Yeah, I mean,
Stop being depressed. Stop being sad. Do what you got to do.
yeah, exactly. You know, today I had to vacuum a little bit. I did not like it, but I had to because my wife was getting one of our daughters ready to take a bath while the other one wanted to help. And I was like, oh man, is the baby
She's not
yours?
Sheba, all right, she only has 2 arms.
You out of here. All right, this is going to be the last guest, and then we're going to call it a night. What's going on?
Do you think your wife likes to vacuum?
Yeah, I think. No, my wife is definitely not less than me.
You failed your wife, dude. You failed your wife and your marriage. You're weak.
All right.
That didn't last long. Does anybody else want to hop in real quick that isn't crazy?
No, he just got triggered.
He vacuumed. What do you mean he's weak? He vacuumed.
Yeah.
He didn't say, no, I'm not going to vacuum. He did what he had to do.
That's
How is he
embarrassing,
weak?
huh?
Being weak would be like, oh, I'm just going to leave. No, I'm not going to vacuum. Like,
That's embarrassing. No, it's really not. I mean, you're just triggered. I get it. I know you're some equality. You know, you're some feminist. I get it. It's all good, man. I get it.
Squish Me wants to pop in, but
He
you
did the
gotta
job
have
of a woman
1,000
beneath him,
followers
is what he
before
said.
TikTok will let you hop in.
Yeah, it's not beneath me, you know, but it's not something that I prefer to do. It's not my role. Women have their strengths.
I mean,
Men have their strengths. Men have their weaknesses. Women have their weaknesses. I prefer to cater. It's implied. Yeah, you're projecting. I know. I get it because you're a soy boy feminist. I get it. You know, men and women, they complement each other. Just play your role. That's all I encourage.
you don't know.
Yes,
0-0
only men
said-
failed. Yes,
This-
only men
He
failed.
said,
Yes,
this dude's so sweaty and nervous. He meant to say, this dude's so salty and nervous.
probably. What's going on?
So, hey, good. Why would you say men failed America?
Yeah, so I'll say it very concisely. They no longer, a lot of men lack a belief system to stand up for. So there's nothing that they're willing to put their life on the line for. A lot of men are too cowardly to start a family. A lot of men are slaves to their vices. A lot of men are just too materialistic.
So don't you think you're all this things you just mentioned are lopsided? Like it's lumped into one gender role. You know? Don't you think it's shifted?
No, men are the leaders. So men bear the responsibility for the collapse of a society, not the women.
No.
Yeah.
No. When you make such a statement like that, saying men are leaders, right?
Mhm.
You're no different from this patriarchy that people all hate.
Yeah, that's cool that they hate it, but it always wins.
Yeah.
It's
Not worried about that.
No, it doesn't always win.
Look at history.
It doesn't.
It always has.
Look at
It's
history,
winning
bro.
now.
No. That's kind of the problem. All
Okay.
right. So they create this scenario because this is a mindset thing, right? If you feel like you're gonna lose just because of your gender, race, or anything, you won't be able to push yourself past the limit of actually trying to win. Okay, so you pulling up the gender and saying that, oh, men are leaders and all that kind of things, it demeans the fact that women are capable of also leading too.
Yeah, it sounds like we just have totally different worldviews, and that's fine.
Yes, we do. We definitely do. I mean, the thing is, for balance to exist, we got to be able to take both gender accountable. We can't just split everything down into gender role because let's be honest, not everybody like the gender role that's being given to them.
Yeah, it doesn't matter that everybody likes it, but this is just human nature.
Yeah, it doesn't. If you don't like your gender role, what are you gonna do? Change your gender?
You don't understand.
How's that working out for you? Did
Wait,
that fix all
wait.
your problems now that you've changed your gender?
I don't think you don't
Are you
understand
good
what
now?
I'm talking about. I said gender role, not their gender itself. Like the gender role society created.
Society
So, like,
didn't create it.
men
Biology
have to
created
do
it.
this,
God created
women have
it.
to do that. Men have to do this. Women. It's like that's a general. A lot of people, it doesn't work out well.
Yeah, it does. That's why we have the society that we have. Before it started
At
crumbling.
what point? Tell me. At what point has it really worked out? Because if it has worked out, right?
What do you
won't
mean?
Have the women, you won't have the women complaining about pay in the sport industry, even though they're not putting out a lot of effort into their work.
Yeah, they shouldn't
You know what
even
I'm
be
saying?
Nobody
there.
watches that shit.
Yeah, and they shouldn't even be there.
I'm not paying to go to a WNBA game.
Yeah, and they
I'm trying to
shouldn't
go
even
see
be
the
doing
Cavs
it.
win a championship.
That's
Right.
what I'm saying. Look, but if the women start pushing themselves and start doing something, right? Guess what's gonna happen? You just made a statement that you weren't gonna watch it. It's because you don't see the competition there. You don't feel the vibe, the adrenaline.
No, I don't. I'm not entertained by it. I'm not entertained by it. That's
'Cause they
what it
don't
is.
belong-
And I
they-
barely
they
even
don't
really
belong.
watch sports that much anyway.
They don't belong
what
there.
What makes you think the men are softer these days then?
I've already enumerated every single reason why as concisely as possible. And we've repeated it numerous times on here as well in the past 2 hours.
It's not all men. It's not all men.
Obviously, but I just want to vent on this point really quick. I really am annoyed today by our wannabe smart people in our society. When you're speaking in generalities, they're like, guys, but it's just isn't everybody, right? Like there are exceptions, right? Like not all men are this way, not all women are this way. It's much easier, and you guys all know what we're talking about, speaking in generalities. So I'm going to say men in America are weak. Obviously, when you look at, somebody like myself, I'm not a weak individual. The Acevedos aren't a weak people. We're strong. We're the ones that help build things. The Ruggieros, or however the hell you pronounce Mick's last name, obviously they're not weak people. So, there's strong men out there. We got a couple right here. So obviously it's not all men. Obviously it's not all men, right? But most men are, yes. And it is the men's fault why the country is falling solely.
So, real quick, let me ask you a question. And this is gonna deviate from the topic. So, like, what kind of job do you do on a regular day?
I have a lot of jobs. I run 2 companies. I run 2 companies. I have a couple different side hustles. I do a lot.
Okay. So like,
Well, what about me? What about
What
my
about-
job? You're not going to ask me about my job?
Well, what's yours?
I stuck D on the corner.
Oh my God, Mick!
Okay.
I was just over here bragging you up,
No.
and then you go and say that
No, I
stuff.
work in a plastic factory. Actually, I work in a plastic factory where we make high quality plastic parts, and it's hot as hell sometimes in there.
That's fair enough. And like,
I be working hard, you know.
that's a good thing. And like, what's you guys educational level? I'm not trying to come off you know.
I have 2 degrees, 2
Okay.
college degrees.
Like what level?
I have an associate's in applied science. I have a degree in diesel technology.
I have an associate's degree in automotive technology, and that's it. I mean, I have my diploma, high school diploma.
Okay, so aside of the aside of what you guys have actually,
Oh,
Is he still there?
I don't know. You just
He just got kicked off.
probably.
Just kicked him off. Come back if you can, man. I'd like to hear about that.
All right.
Somebody just said that
One more.
strap-ons.
Yeah. One more, and then we're done. What's going on, man?
Hey, what's up, guys? It's good to see a couple fellow car guys on here.
Yeah.
For some reason, I knew this was all going to come back to cars. I was thinking about it earlier. I was like, nobody's going to want to listen to us talk about cars.
Well, it's funny because like I'm in the car business myself, and I was kind of interested on. I see on your board behind you it says car market's crashing. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, you can go ahead and carry that one, Mick.
Yeah, man. I mean, I went to school at UTI like a dummy and garnered up a whole bunch of debt. I think I had like $20,000 in student debt. I went to Arizona, got my associate's degree in automotive technology. Then I got a job at Firestone. Then I got a job at a dealership. Did all that for a while. Ended up having back surgery. Switched up my
He was asking about
industry I was in.
the car market crashing.
Yeah, and now moving into the car market. So, and that's where I met Louise, was when I was in the car market. So yeah, we both know about it a lot. And yeah, the car market. And the reason why I brought up my background is because I've been seeing this issue for a while. A lot of mechanics hate their job.
Yep.
They don't get paid enough.
Oh yeah.
It's bullshit.
Oh, yeah.
The flat rate is a joke. It should not be legal. And that was the beginning. When I saw this a while ago, that this was going to be the big problem, they can't find anybody. They can't find anybody to work on cars. There's a huge shortage of people working on cars. So then you have that. And then on top of that, now you have all these other problems. The chip shortage. Now you have all these layoffs from Ford, Rivian, Tesla. I'm sure we're going to see a whole bunch more. So that's basically what I'm getting at. It's like a snowball effect that's been building up. It's only a matter of time. Everybody's always complaining, I don't have money to get my car fixed. You go to a dealership, it's like $100-something an hour labor. Are you kidding me? That's insane. People cannot afford to own a car, and they're always, it's going to go up. Like, it's coming to the point where it's going to be almost unaffordable to have a car. And that's basically my spiel.
So I think too, with the gas market being what it is, everybody's up in arms about how much gas costs, and rightfully so. I mean, it's stupid, crazy high. And but you have to think, with the agenda that's being pushed by the government, the electric car cannot be appealing if gas is cheap. So, I mean, that's something to think about. Tesla's running into their own problems because they can't seem, when Tesla veered away from reliability and tried to step into performance, that's where they screwed up. And that's kind of their, with releasing the 1,000 horsepower all-wheel drive Model S Plaid, and now all their batteries are catching on fire, and the recalls, shit like that. They're kind of digging their own hole. But with the car market, the chip shortage in general, the chip shortage is a big problem. I work for a luxury car line. I'm actually a diagnostician and a supervisor for a luxury line, and we're on like an 11-month backlog right now on cars.
Yeah.
You just can't. So you can't get new cars. All of the used cars are severely overpriced, like crazy overpriced, and so that begs the question. It's like all these people, and we're still selling cars. I mean, we're not doing the 400 and 500 cars a month like we were 2 years ago, but we've dropped down to roughly 100, anywhere from 180 to 250 cars a month. But it just begs the question, like if you're going, these 2019, 2020 Toyota Camrys that people are overpaying by $7,000 and $8,000, when this bubble busts, you're going to be so fucking up. Pardon my French. You're going to be so flipping upside down that then you're stuck in the car. There's no way you can get out of the car. You can't trade out of the car because they're even on a new car where they're willing to finance 120%. You're still not going to cover it. You're still going to have to come out of pocket.
Well,
Louise, you kind of opened up my eyes with. Let me say something just real quick, Louise. With the repossession thing you were talking about earlier.
Yeah.
You kind of opened up my eyes. If the repossession crisis does actually happen, there could be a flood of used cars entering the market, and that could drive prices down.
Yeah.
For used cars, new cars could still be a struggle to get a hold of because of all the, supply chain issues.
Well,
look at what happened too, with the, what was that, Cash for Clunkers? Were you guys in the business when the Cash for Clunkers thing was going on?
no.
The repossession rate was insane because they were giving little to nothing for these clunker cars and then putting people in cars that they couldn't afford. They go 6 months, couldn't make the payment, repossess the car, and then it's like the dealership was double dipping because they could repossess the car, bring it back, turn around, sell it again. And so it was. I feel like that was the start of it. That Cash for Clunkers thing was the start.
Yeah, it could be, and I think that
trucks and shit that are $80,000 and $90,000 is just ridiculous.
I think this too. So, like a little bit about my background too. I've been in the automotive field on and off for 10 years in all sides of it. So not just as a mechanic, but as a salesman, as a claim adjuster, service advisor, all of it. So one thing that I learned, I brought this up earlier when I was working in the extended warranty company, were the subprime loans.
You're not that guy that calls everybody, are you? You weren't there.
No. So our company did not call people. Our company was business to business. So the contracts were sold at the used car dealerships in conjunction with the used car. And then when the customer had an issue with their car, they would give me a call. And then I would basically be the BS detector speaking with the repair shop because I had, technical background. Anyway, and then obviously, we're trying not to pay every claim. That's just the truth of the matter. But anyway, one thing I learned there was the fact that the used car industry utilizes subprime loans, which are predatory, right? I mean, they're the worst kind of loans you can get for the worst kind of credit a person can have. And you're talking like 30% interest rates. And these people already can't afford the car as it is. And now you're adding a 30% interest rate. And so that's why you're seeing a lot of repossessions in part is because of so in conjunction with what you're saying with the Cash for Clunkers, but also because of the subprime loans, people who can't afford the cars are getting the cars because of the subprime loans.
Yeah.
So that's a huge, huge issue that like almost nobody's talking about. And in the used car market has been going down consecutively since January of this year, right? About like 6.4% almost every month. It's pretty crazy.
Yeah, it's the same thing. Like when I worked for Hyundai, they would sell you a brand new Hyundai Accent, base model. Like it didn't even have AC, had crank windows, an AM FM radio, and they're still walking out there with a $700 a month payment. Like it's insane. And then I worked for Chrysler as well, and they were selling the Chrysler 200s for like $17,000-$18,000 brand new, and these people are walking out with $800-$900 a month payments, and they're not looking at the fine print, they're not looking at the interest rate, they're not looking at any of that. They're just saying, hey, I need a car, sell me a car, sell me a car, sell me a car. It's like you're almost better off going to these little buy here pay here rock lots.
Yeah,
you're still dealing with the same high interest rate, but I mean, at least you're not burying yourself in a $20,000 car payment.
Exactly.
People, I don't know, this here and now mentality in America, in society in general. It's like that's why fast food is booming like it is, because you want it now. So you're sacrificing your health to eat this fucking. I'm sorry, this fucking trash. You know what I mean? It's unreal, the decisions that people are making to have something now. Dude, I'm a victim of it, man. I bought a Harley last year. And if you ever buy a Harley, don't ever go through Harley financing, because oh my God, they'll rob you blind. I mean, their loans are set up like a mortgage. So like the first half of your term, you're paying nothing.
But they pay a dividend.
What do you mean?
Their stock pays a dividend. They're still paying their dividends out to the shareholders. Harley is.
Well, I mean, yeah, but I mean, for somebody that's buying the car, who gives a shit, right? I mean,
right.
I'm just saying that's why they're able to keep paying that dividend, because you're paying that high interest rate.
Yeah.
I mean, that's true too. But, and I mean, like in these banks too, like in the car business, if you were in finance or if you're in F&I at all, they take your loan application and they shotgun it to like 30 different banks. And whoever they get the first response from, that's who they go with. Well, what's that do to your credit? Every single pull on your credit takes points off your credit score. Well, they just shotgunned it to 30 different banks for them to pull a hard pull on your credit.
Right.
So it's like, it's insane. If people just need to take the time to do the research. I mean, buying a car now, especially now, because everything is just stupid expensive. I mean, you're signing up for a minimum $30,000. If you want a new car right now, you're looking at a minimum $30,000 to $40,000 loan for something that's not worth it. It's just not worth it, man. I mean, who the hell?
That's why it's all about having the cash.
Worth $40,000. Yeah.
When the prices of everything come, interest rates don't matter if you just have cash. So.
True.
Yeah, that's true.
That's the most important thing.
So we got.
And it used to be you could walk into a dealership with cash and they would negotiate with you. Now that's even off the table. Like they're like, no, absolutely not, because the market is so scarce. They're like, dude, if you don't want to pay what I'm asking for this car, there's 30 people waiting at the door to buy the same car. So if you're not willing to pay what I want, it's like negotiating's off the table. Everything's off the table. You have to pay what they want.
So you have to take out a loan to buy a car, you're saying? You can't even just buy it? Like if you have
No, he's saying that you can't negotiate the pricing.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
And dude, I mean, even if you look at that logistically and say, yeah, you could pay cash, who's got $40,000 cash laying around now? Right now, in today's society, in today's market, today's economy, who's got that kind of money sitting around just to turn around and buy a car? Unless you're flirting with that 1% line,
Yeah, I mean, this is the reality that we live in. But the car market is having a huge correction. It's probably over the next couple of years going to drop precipitously. The recession is going to hit every industry, I think. Not every industry, but definitely it's going to affect the automotive industry. And then we had somebody here on Twitch saying, he made a comment earlier saying they're going to wait till a large portion of people have e-cars, then they will implement a tax per mile law. Maybe.
Oh, I'm sure. Well, and like even these supercharging stations, I don't know if you've looked into those for the Teslas and the EV cars. It's like it's no different than gas. You can sit there for 2 hours and pay less per kilowatt hour to charge your car, or you can supercharge your car in 20 minutes and it's like paying for 93 premium, you know, and so like, how does that equate in people's minds that you're saving money? Because you're not. I mean, you're literally not. You're just robbing Peter to pay Paul.
Right.
I don't think that people that buy EVs are worried about the money. I think it's more of a virtual signal
100%.
type thing.
100%.
And I can see that too, you know, keeping up with the Joneses as well as the tax breaks. You know, when you buy EV cars and shit, you get tax breaks now. You can write that shit off on your taxes and get like
Yeah,
a,
well, yeah,
you know,
that
tax
too,
credit
yeah.
just because you bought a EV car. But that's only a one-shot deal. So are you really winning? I mean, you know, it's the here and now, man. It's the here and now game.
Are you ever really winning when it comes to like physical things? You know, I don't think that's where winning comes from.
Yeah, no. Things that depreciate in value, you're going to lose no matter what. But even in the housing market, you know, I built my house 2 years ago, and then I just refinanced about 6 months ago to get a better interest rate. You know, I wanted to jump on that bandwagon, and I actually saved. I went from 5.75 down to 3.25. And when I refinanced my house, dude, the value of my house went up like almost $200,000 in 2 years. Mm-hmm. It's insane. And there's nobody, and you can't say that it's, you know, around here they do, and I don't know where you guys are from, but I'm in North Carolina, and around here, they look at all the values of the homes within like a 5-mile radius of your home. And so if somebody built a new home, this massive home, then obviously it brings the value of your home up. But no one has built in the area that I live in probably 10 years. So I'm just curious to know what made the value of my home go up so high. You know, I mean,
money printer go burr. You know,
pure speculation.
Yeah, that and money printer going burr, and people wanting to move like crazy during 2019 and 20.
Yeah, I really worry about what's going to happen when this shit pops, because the balloon's going to pop. It has to. It has no choice.
It is right now.
Don't be worried. Just get ready, dude. Don't be worried. Just get prepared.
Yeah, I mean, we're experiencing it right now, and the housing market is probably going to just cool down and go back to its normal levels, and then we'll probably see some further drops, I would say, but who knows? But all you can do is, and you know, like we've been saying, localize your supply chains as best as you can, and focus on securing your family. I mean, there's not much you can do if we're in a global recession and a global depression, aside from, I think the biggest thing everybody needs to do is get out of debt. Debt's going to be the anchor that drags you down during the depression and recessions.
Yeah, that's kind of what we've been focusing on here, is just trying to get out of debt. I mean, granted, we're in debt, but I don't feel like we're as bad as a lot of people that I know.
Right.
You know, there's a lot of people that I know that are in triple, 6 figures of debt.
Right.
And I'm nowhere near that. You know, and you know, my wife, God bless her soul, she likes crunching numbers when it comes to finances, but she hates adding and subtracting. So she's, you know, we've kind of come up with a plan that, you know, in the next 12 months, we should be out of debt aside from our home. But it just, you know, with me being in the automotive industry and our livelihood being secured on my income, it's like, I mean, I make good money doing what I'm doing, you know, I mean, I can't complain, but it's like, how much longer is this going to last? You know, and I mean, damn, am I going to have to start swinging on a pole to make it? I mean, what's, you know?
I don't know. We'll have to see an image of you to determine that.
No, there's
my picture is my picture. So.
hey. So I think that we should, hey guest, Lucas Real. I think we should just answer these last 2 comments here and then call it a night. These are some good comments. The government gets more money in taxes from higher home values. That's a really interesting thought there.
Well, isn't it just the state and local government?
like the government
Well-
benefits from higher home values.
Well, it's
So,
just-
you know,
Yeah,
they
but
were going up like crazy. And
it's just the state and local government, right? It's not the federal government.
Yeah, that's not Fed. That's state level.
Yeah.
well, that's true. Yeah, I guess.
But
Well,
I mean,
then the
they
other
still
comment was-
benefit from it.
Assault
I suppose.
weapons, which we have in our thing up here. Tell me you got no clue about guns without telling me. Oh wait, you just did.
All right, so
Because we
here's
said
the deal with
assault
that.
weapons.
I'm very versed in that subject, so I'll answer that question if you guys don't mind. But this title, and I don't know these guys, I just met these guys, but based on that sentence alone, he is quoting the title of the bill,
Exactly.
period.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's
well,
all.
yeah, and that's
So
what they're
tell-
calling it,
so
assault
tell me-
weapons.
Yeah, tell me you don't have any clue about guns without telling me. It's your legislators who are sitting up there calling a pistol brace a bump stock.
Right. I mean,
That's what he's referring to.
there's no actual
Yeah.
definition for an assault weapon. They haven't defined it. So
The big fear most gun owners have is that they're going to try and ban semi-automatics.
right.
Well, and that's what
And-
they're pushing for. That's what this HR 1808 is.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, and it passed the House, you know, like, and everybody's up in arms about it passing the House, but we all knew that was going to happen because the House is democratically controlled. And, you know, the only thing that worries me is the select few Republicans that are on board with that ban and are in support of that ban. So
Yeah, I'm not worried about it. It's not going to pass.
I don't think it will either. And even if it did, I mean, let's be honest, you know, you ban all guns, then that means there has to be some kind of confiscation procedure. And I know a lot of people in law enforcement and
Yeah.
in the military, and I don't know anybody that's going to stack up on civilians' doors to try to take their guns.
Yeah,
I
not
just
only
don't.
that, but logistically, it's not possible. I don't think they have the manpower logistically to even do that.
Well, that's why they just passed the CHIP Act so they can make AI robot dogs to go door to door and confiscate your weapons.
Well, that's fine too. I mean, you know, we have rounds for that as well. That's not a big deal.
Right. But all right, guys,
What's up?
it's been
Yeah,
a
it's been a
wonderful
good
show.
Yeah, man. Hey, I sent you guys a follow. And,
I appreciate it.
I look forward to doing more lives with you guys. And,
Yeah, man, for sure.
Make sure you guys like, share, subscribe. Check out all the channels, MOT Media, MOT Today, MOT Sports. We're on TikTok, Twitter, Facebook, everything, aren't we? We're on pretty much everything. We're going to be going on more stuff too. Rumble, there was a few others. I've heard Rumble's good.
Yep.
Everything. Follow us.
Yep. And
So
Sunday, MOT Sports 420. Maybe do
Yep.
something tomorrow. We'll see. But typically it's Monday through Friday. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm tired as hell. It's 2:30.
yeah,
And
it's early. Yeah, early in the morning now.
yeah. But all right, guys. Much love. Peace.
Peace.